Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another one of these live streams. It's another Friday. It comes so quickly. It comes so quickly every single week. Let's get the chat in here. Come on in chat. Well, we've got a super chat already from Roscoe Pico. Mr. Roscoe Pico says, for $10, hasn't Trudeau already sold most of Canada to China? Mining, forestry, and lots of industry has already been sold. I think I'd rather be a part of the USA rather than China. Yeah, or at least I would rather welcome in our United States brethren rather than welcome in China. Yeah, we're all worried about Russia. Russia. What is Russia gonna do? I don't know. I think they got a world of hurt of their own. I don't care what they're doing. I'm a little interested in what China's up to, given the whole, interfering in our elections and all that stuff. We're gonna get into some of that this evening. Welcome everybody to the chat. What a showing already. Wow. Oh, amazing. Michael Hostetler. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Much love from Yexus, mate. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's amazing. Much love from Yexus, good old state of Yexus. Love it. Thank you for coming out. And thanks everybody. Let's do this. I wanted to get into a bunch of stuff tonight. I'm just, I think what we're gonna do is much like last week. Hold on. Let's chill and grab yourself a wobbly pop. Let's get into that. It's Friday evening. Ooh, most of us are having a dry January. I'm having a dry weekday January. I'm gonna enjoy one of these while we do this live stream. Glad, keep up the great reporting. Thank you, Kyle. I really appreciate that. Cheers, Ragman. Hi from Southern Ontario. I grew up in Southern Ontario. It's Ontario. Lots of great people though. Lots of industry, lots of stuff to do, lots of work. It's a thing. I'm out here in beautiful British Columbia now. I do love it. I do not love the prices. It is not a thing for me. Hi from Northeastern Ontario. I was born in Northern Ontario, and then I moved south when I was 8 years old. Nice colored t-shirt, Clyde. Thank you. I tried spicing it up. I was doing the all black thing, and it was out of just, okay, it would be easier if I just wore black every time or wore just like kind of work clothes. But I was looking back at some of my videos and I was like, wow, it looks kind of grim. I don't want to give a grim message because my message is never grim. I don't want the visual. I want the visual to match with the messages. So I thought, hey, why not get some color? I know it looks like I'm in a hallway. We were on a narrow path, folks. We are on a narrow path, and you gotta pick your lane and you gotta go down it, and that's what we're doing. And that lane is liberty, ladies and gents. That is what we're doing. Hi from Kapusaking. I hope I'm Kapuskasing. That's right. There you go. Ontario. Kapuskasing. I've heard of that. I think I've been there. I think I've been through there before. I still have family in Ontario, so every so often I go back to that area of the place. Woodstock, Ontario. Welcome, Susan. Good to see ya. Hello from Kelowna, BC, from way out in the West Coast, the best coast, in my humble opinion. Clyde, go with the cool plaid. Yeah, I got to do it. I picked up a couple of different ones just so I could switch them up, so it's not always the same stuff. Because here's how it goes, right? I wake up, I get up, I do my videos, and then I put on work gear and I go to work. So I'm not going to work in this. This isn't I'm not my attire for the whole day. So I'm dressing up for you guys. It really is what it is. I put on what I think might look good for the video, and then I head on to work. I put on my work clothes that are gonna get really dirty throughout the workday, and then I go do that. For anyone who's new to the channel, perhaps you don't know the routine, what's going on here, and if you're absolutely new and this is your first live stream, welcome to the show. This is what we do here. So quick synopsis of how things go. I've been doing reporting on news in Canada and around the world, the real pursuit of liberty in the Western civilization since the Freedom Convoy. So we're going on a few years now. And what I do is I wake up early in the morning before I go to my mechanic job as a licensed certified technician, fixing people's car, making sure they're safe on that road. I make videos talking about the things that I think matter the most. They matter the most to me in the moment anyway. A lot of it is news stories that the mainstream media is basically lying to you about. They're not being truthful, and they're stretching a lot of the truth and what's really going on the ground. And for a lot of people, it woke a lot of people up. I mean, it wasn't the first time of knowing about this when I started reporting about it, but it was when I started really pushing the reports and telling people, because I mean, I wasn't doing this kind of thing prior to that. I talked about automotive stuff and things on YouTube. Anyway, started doing that, and every Monday through Friday early in the morning I do some videos. I pop them on the internet and just see what they do, see what happens. And you lovely people in the community are there viewing the videos, being part of the conversation in the comment section, coming to the live streams on every Friday night, and we get to recap on some of these stories and talk about what matters to all of us in the community the most. Really, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. It's about community building. It's about expanding, bringing more people to this concept of liberty and sound economics, all of this stuff. And perhaps we can maybe change some things in the real world, not just conversations on the internet, but make things actually happen. And I think a lot of things have been going in the right direction. Ryan Hemsley saying, great work, Clyde. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Watched you since the convoy footage. Awesome. Thank you so much. It's great. There's tons of people that have been around since the beginning, and there's hundreds of new people just even today. Amazing. Hundreds of people subscribing to the channel, becoming new members, all of that stuff. It's really, really cool. Courage the Cowardly Dog, love the name. $2 super chat. Do you think Singh will drag us to October? I don't think he can. I think he's beyond that. And I think he's not waiting for his pension anymore. There's no way there'll be a vote and he'll be out of his position before February, when he's eligible for his pension. So he's got nothing to worry about. He could call a confidence vote the day we get back to Parliament, which is not happening soon enough because of the prorogation, and that's a thing. Michael Hostetler, I think I got it right this time, for $5 says, also from Texas, Cone get you drunk weather. What? The typos are amazing. Are they typos, or is that how it's said? Cone get you drunk weather. Love it. Also from Texas. That's amazing. So as many of you know, we have plans to move down there. But we don't know when. We don't know when that's going to happen. What happened for us was, and I'm an American citizen, right? So dual citizen, Canada, US, love both countries, absolutely. And my love for Canada is not going away with my belongings. Like that's not how it works here. And my fervor for setting Canada free is not lightening up at all as well. In fact, I plan to take the Canadian story to the United States, because have you noticed something? As the pressure has been building in the United States, more and more stuff, more and more quickly, has been getting done here in Canada. So yes, build the pressure from south of the border. I'm an advocate of this, and this is what I'm going to be pushing very hard at doing. So being in a central Texas location will be very beneficial for that fight. And anytime I need to come back to Canada, jump on an airplane. That's its easiest thing. It really is as easy as that. There are all kinds of things like the We Unify conference that is going to be coming up again. We don't have a date yet, but we'll find out when that's happening. I will absolutely be there. I won't be gone from Canada before that happens anyway. Anyway, for people who are kind of, where did that come from? And maybe you're new to the channel. British Columbia, the cost of living has gotten so ridiculous, and recently, my family, my wife, my children, myself, we were all evicted from our house by a landlord that wanted to raise the rent by an exorbitant amount, which he ended up doing, by the way. It's still sitting vacant with a huge price tag, about 3 times what we used to pay, which I know is illegal and all that stuff. And, you know, Angela Cordozo has a few things she might be able to even say about that. But yeah, so we're in a battle for that. But because our rent's gone up by $20,000 this year, it's going to be very difficult long term to stick with that and raise a family, all of that stuff. So we're going to relocate, but the message is going to stay the same. And probably the view will stay largely the same. That's how things will be going moving forward. Angela Cordoso for $5 says, super excited for the meetup on January 25th, 2025. Can you tell us again the location, please? Yeah, so we're going to be doing a meetup. This is for, you know, there may be some new people hanging around right now. Yikes, 20,000. Yes, yikes, $20,000 a year more. That's a big hike. That's a giant hike. Some people are scraping by on earning that much a year, which is crazy. So that was really nuts. The location for the event, so people who don't know, if you haven't heard yet, Marty and I were, if you don't know who Marty is, Marty up north is he has a large following on Twitter, and the two of us got together a few years ago, did one video, and it was just a podcast, and then that turned into a weekly event. I don't know how that happened. It just organically took place, and then that became a weekly event, and then just recently we decided to make it a live show. We've done a meetup before, and I said, hey, why don't we start doing these meetups? Because the real cool thing is people will come out. The draw is like to meet us, but the real benefit of this is other people meet each other, and that's the crux of it. What we want to do and what we want to accomplish is to take the online communities and turn them into real, genuine communities of people who know each other, perhaps even in a geographical location, or people travel out and visit and come see these things. But we're starting this. It's going to be a series of meetups where we do, like, you know, pub style politics, right? We'll go hang out in a pub together, get to meet everybody, get to shake hands with everybody, get to hear everybody's stories, because I love hearing other people's stories. It's fantastic. But really great thing is you guys get to meet each other. And when we did it before, we did it in Calgary, we saw so many people meet up, and we saw so many people exchanging phone numbers, and found out that a lot of people ended up making good friends. Now they hang out quite a bit, and this is like making new friendships, making communities, and this is really what it's all about. The Clyde Pool Tournament, I don't know about that. I don't even know where there's even a billiards place around here. You don't even see that anymore. But there is a pool table at the pub we'll be going to. And so before I go on too far, the pub is called the Shady Tree Pub. It's in Squamish, British Columbia. So check that out. It's pretty central location in Squamish. Just Google. It's like one of the most well-known pubs in town, but it has quite a lot of seating space. So and a lot of standing space, which is great. So this will be a really cool event, and I'm looking forward to it. I think this is really good. There you go. There's the website right there. No need to make a reservation or anything. It's just walk in, come on in. We're all gonna have wings and all the appies and all the good stuff, and a lot of wobbly pops, and that's what the real idea is. Yeah, it's to get people together to meet each other. Trish Prue with 279 says, wow, less than 2,000 subscribers to get 150. Yeah, we're just around the corner. I think I hit 148 today. 148 today. Just a few hundred subscribers this just today. It's crazy. The channel is growing by leaps and bounds. I don't even know what to say. Thank you. But it's all about building more and more community. So it really stoked to that. Are they salting that big hill into and out of Squamish? Don't know if there's no big hill anymore going in and out of Squamish. How long's it been since you've been? Oh, you're talking about the Furry Creek Hill. Yeah, that's salted. It's not even going to be cold enough. It's not even gonna be cold enough to make ice right now. It's not cold outside at all. You'll be good. Private homes renting out rooms for shared bathrooms, $1,200 a month. Yeah, it's stupid, the rates. Yeah, our place that was really reasonable is going for close to $4,000 a month now, with no tenants in it. But hey, the price is there. The price is wrong, but you know, that's where it goes. Like, share, subscribe, invest in Clyde. Let's go. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, Brenda Weeb with the $27.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Saying, have a plate of wings on me. Well, that'll get a plate of wings. Absolutely. Thank you. Plate of wings and a beer right there. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's great. Holy cow. That's that's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, this is it's going to be a fun event. I'm really looking forward to it, and I have been for a bit here in British Columbia. Beautiful British Columbia. Beautiful what should have been conservative British Columbia. But, well, we all saw the election. Did everybody see the election and what's been going on? I wanted to pop this up first thing right now today. Let me pull all this down so I can see the screen a little better. My old man eyes are, yeah, they're going through a thing right now. And before anyone says I'm making fun of old people, I am old. So it's a thing. Odessa Ulrich putting this out on X saying, here's a press conference about the alleged, with evidence, possible election you can't say that word on YouTube. No. By the David Eby NDP government in the recent BC Canada election, especially in the key riding that reversed to NDP after election night. You remember that? How that happened? Trump was doing really good, and then overnight everybody went to bed and Biden won. Yeah, one of those kind of happened. The CBC was a jerk to Rustad. Yeah, they are. They're jerks. That's what they do. Let's have a listen.
We need to be able to have confidence in the democratic process.
Now, obviously, I can't play this whole thing. 18 minutes long. I have another copy of it. It's like 27 minutes long. But let's get to hear just a little bit of the gist of what's being said here.
We need to have confidence in the results. We need to have confidence in how business is conducted in this province by governments. And to that end, add into rumors or into conspiracy theories. I wanted to make sure that I dealt with facts, things that we could find, things that we could do research on. So since the election...
By the way, Blake Warren, thank you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to membership. Thank you so much for buying a membership for the channel. Michael Holstetler with another $2 super chat with no message, just some thumbs ups on it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
We have had a group of people that have been looking into a number of things, a number of issues that have...
Oh, late again. I'm worse than Clyde. Yeah, you're worse than me. You're way later than me. Good evening, chat. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Better late than never, right? As they always say.
That have been raised. And we felt it important at this point to share what we have found to date, but also to indicate that there is more work that still needs to be done with regards to this.
Now, before I even play this, for anyone who is involved in this election, anyone who was a part of this, Courage the Cowardly Dog, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining up as a member. Thank you. On election night, on election day, okay, I vote on election day because that's how you always have done it. It was election week, and there was all kinds of fishy business going on. And here, I just want to express this. If you create the opportunity for I can't say that word. Not truthful things happening, then you'll always have to deal with people alleging that it could have happened. You always will. So we should always do things legitimately. We should always do things very transparently. One day elections, you go to your polling stations, none of this mail in, and then voting week. What did they have it? It was the officials at the voting tally places for a week long were allowed to take ballots home with them unsupervised. Entire boxes of ballots were allowed to go home with these workers and then come back. Nothing could possibly ever go wrong there. Like if you create the situation, the atmosphere where atmospheric river where that could exist, then you're gonna have allegations of it. What do you think is gonna happen? And then when you have allegations of it, and when you have so much chance for abuse, you don't think that people are gonna question anomalies and weird stuff that's been going on? Yeah, I think people are gonna be worried about that. Saurav Bagat, I hope I'm pronouncing. Apologies if I'm getting the name wrong. But thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Justin resigned on my birthday. Best birthday gift ever. Well, he's one of those people that give a birthday gift and then come over and then take it back. He's promised that he's might resign. That's what he said he was going to do. I intend to resign if some things happen. Michael Hostetler for $2. Clyde for Canadian Prime Minister. No thanks. I don't want it. I really want to be the guy talking truth to power. At least until I'm like, elderly, and then like I could be like the Ron Paul type, where I talk about liberty and Austrian economics and a nice position representing people. I don't know. I don't even think I would ever want to do that. I really like being a mechanic. Thank you very much. And I like doing the YouTube thing. Tyrants never resign. No, they don't. No, they don't. And it was totally out of character. And I admitted it that I didn't think he was going to resign. And then he came out and he gave his notice of intention to resign. So that's the thing.
We've heard many stories about, for example, non-Canadian citizens who have voted in this election. However, that's something that we can't prove because obviously Twitter
going
to be coming forward, putting up their hand saying, please have me eligible for a fine and put me in jail. So these are the types of things that are hard to follow up on in terms of it, which is one of the reasons why we'll have a recommendation associated with that as well. We found other cases where an individual went to vote and was told they couldn't vote because somebody had already voted. Somebody had already registered to vote.
So I'm going to cut to the chase here. There's a lot of cases that are cases of people voting who should not have voted. There are cases of people going to vote and they had already been tallied as someone who voted. There are a lot of cases of all of this stuff, and they're all happening within ridings that were going conservative and then flipped NDP and changed the outcome of the election. So, yeah, it's good for people to raise questions about this stuff, and yeah, I think it's a legitimate concern for the guy who, especially the guy who's going to be the premier, shy of a few hundred votes, like literally a few hundred votes. That's a big deal. Winiska with a $20 super chat saying, buying you and Marty a wobbly pop. Salut. Winiska, thank you so much. Appreciate that. That's great. I'm working on this one. This is the first one of the week. Getting her down. And boy, does that taste so good. I hope everyone out there is enjoying one of their own. If you're not, because it's dry January, you just don't drink, or you don't like wobbly pops, I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're enjoying. I hope that you're enjoying it. That's have a pint or two. Oh, on the 25th, we're gonna have quite a few, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to it. But let's yeah. So I mean, I could make the whole stream about this. We're still yet to see where that's going with this election stuff that's happening. So that's kind of on hold. We'll wait. We'll see how that goes. Again, here's Mark Nixon breaking. John Rustad and the BC Conservatives Party, held a press conference today to address concerns about the recent BC election results. They announced 45 incidents of potential voter whoa, can't say that one, in the Surrey-Guildford riding, one that flipped NDP at the very last 23rd hour. That was one of those things. BC election is going to look into it, and I hope they do. And if the NDP won legitimately, then that's what it's got to be, right? That's what it's got to be. But it looks so sus. Now, this should be a wake-up call to anyone in government and anybody in all these places to quit with the meddling with election procedures. Let's just go back to, you don't get a mail-in ballot unless you have extenuating circumstances that make it so you would have to have a mail-in ballot. If not, get your ass over and vote. Sorry for the bad words, but you got to do it. It's just the way it works. Sorry, not sorry. If you know you don't feel like it is not an extenuating circumstance, get in your car, drive down to the polling station, and cast your ballot. That's just the way it goes. Do it on the one day that it happens. You know, none of this. There was no lines when I cast my ballot. I went in, I got in, boom. Oh, you're registered. There's your name. Okay, here's your ballot. Go fill it out. Done. It was no problem. There's no problem with everybody doing that, with the exception of expats, Canadians that are living abroad and they're registered in BC. That was the last place that they registered to vote. Eligible to vote, absolutely. Perhaps people in nursing homes that are not mobile. That's the thing. There was cases of a nursing home that was across the street from a polling station, where there was tons and tons, a bunch of the ballots were cast there from people who could have been wheeled over to cast their ballots. It's not an issue. Call-in ballots, get out of town. Week-long election, get out of town. Officers at the, people, volunteers working there, being able to take home ballots overnight and then come back with boxes of ballots, get out of here. No, none of that flies. None of that flies. Daifechu, the $5 super chat, says, your guest from yesterday, DJ from the Yukon, Yukon Strong, had some really good points on Canadian sovereignty and freedoms. Yes, he's onto some great stuff. He's onto some fantastic stuff. I hope you're all following him over on X. If you're not on X, you're missing out. He's not really doing anything on YouTube at the moment. I hope he starts. I think that would be great if he got into the YouTube community. I'd absolutely have him on again to promote it and get more people over there to subscribe to him. But yeah, in the meantime, Yukon Strong on X, go over, give him a follow. He does a lot of stuff for firearms ownership in Canada as well. So, if you're in the Yukon area and you're looking to get your R pal to learn how to shoot, get all that stuff going, give him a shout. He's the kind of guy who's really keen on doing that stuff. So there's the link right there. Solar, jumping on it, just killing it. Solar, best mod right there. Making sure those links are available. So thank you. Get over there and give Yukon Strong a follow. And like I said, contact him if you're in the area and you want to learn more about getting your license to own and acquire firearms in Canada. Angela Cordoso saying, I have my PAL and our PAL. I'm not very keen on the RPAL and what the restrictions are there. And I'm not keen on gun laws in Canada, period. Whoa, hey, Audio Jack, I want to see more of you in the chat, and then you'll be best mod. I just started something. I got the mods fighting each other now. I didn't mean to do that. My mods are all the best. We have a great community of mods. I'm not kidding. And on this channel, so all really good people. I got my PAL. Having your PAL is a great thing. One thing, here's the thing. I'm a Second Amendment advocate. I think everyone should have the right to own firearms without the government giving you permission. But and this isn't, or I should say, I don't. It's not. There's no but in that. I think people have the right to own firearms, and the government of Canada is infringing on that right. But I should stop saying but. And I think people should go and get a safety course. If you've never done a safety course on firearms, do that. Hire an instructor. Go to a training facility and just learn about basic safety of firearms. It saves lives. It's very important. Safety is paramount, and everybody should do it. So with the restrictions in Canada to get your possession acquisition license, you have to go through a safety course. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to get trained. Do I think that the government should be able to do what they're doing and restrict people from firearm ownership? No, I don't think so. And there you go. I'm a Second Amendment advocate, very much in favor of that. I think all the gun laws in Canada should be repealed. And I'm not saying we should own machine guns or any of that stuff, but I don't think there's a big, all the bad guys have them anyway. You know, bad guys have machine pistols. Sorry to break it to you, but last time I looked, what was it? White Rock, Surrey. There was a shootout, and what was the weapon of choice? An Uzi. Uzis are not legal in Canada. You can't even get one with an RPAL. It's just not. It's not a thing. Yeah, Second Amendment. Heck yeah, exactly. I'm a big advocate for it. I would like to see all of that stuff repealed. We have canon law. We can have a cannon. I know it's stupid. If you didn't know this, in the chat, yes, in Canada, there's no restriction on owning a cannon that I know of, that I'm aware of. You can't own a firearm without a possession acquisition license, but you can own a cannon. That's the thing. Right on. Other stuff in the news. I wanted to talk about this just briefly because I woke up this morning and I saw this on the YouTube feed and was like, what? Mark Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan? This is insane. This is nuts. And look at the makeover. He's got he looks like a a white guy version of Ice Cube from like 1995, you know. I mean, wow, he's got the Jerry curl and the gold chains and baggy clothing. Cool. Mark, you've gone through a makeover. You've got this whole new look going on for you. And I don't know if I buy it. I'll have to watch the whole podcast because I haven't had time to see the Zuck and what was going on. Zuckerberg looks like a child. Maybe he's going for that. Zuck version 2.0. Yeah. So I haven't been able to watch the whole podcast. I love the Zuck memes. Yeah, they're funny. But he's going through this thing, and I think he's trying to image change, and I think it's a corporate move. He looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Okay, that's funny. I think he's going through this corporate thing. It's totally corporate. He wants to not look like the Chinese Zuck that we all know, the lizard person, um, bowl cut, whatever thing he had going on there. He doesn't want to associate with that anymore, because I think he thought, and his company thought, China was going to be the next big thing. And China quickly proved them wrong. China has become a really hostile place for Westerners. It is rapidly in decline. The economy is crashing hard. They're trying to prop it up. The government is doing what they can to manipulate the currency, to try to find any, vestiges of keeping their industry afloat and all this other stuff. Investors are leaving China to go to other places that are cheaper for labor, because China was trying to boost up this middle class, and that wasn't working because they have no resources. And they have, what do they have? They're the world's cheap labor, cheap, qualified labor. And the quality was going down, and the products were getting more expensive, and the restrictions were getting harder and harder and harder. And especially with Trump coming in, Trump is very much a trade-oriented guy. Reciprocal trade is how trade works. If China gets to build companies and sell their products to the Canadian, American, British markets, well, why can't those markets build their products and sell them in the Chinese market? Well, because China has all these trade restrictions on everybody, and it's one way. It's a one-way thing, and that ship's sailing. That is not gonna last very much longer. And I think Zuck, the Zuck here, is catching on. He's catching on that, whoops, yeah, I'm very late. Well, so Zuck was very late to the switching over to Team America side. He was very much pro-China, China. Whoops, that's not looking like a winning bet. Let's do a makeover. And now he looks like a young aspiring gangster rapper or UFC fighter or something that he's got going on. I personally don't trust it, but give him time. Give it time with what's going on. But it's crazy. So he made an announcement recently that he was going to get rid of, what do they call them? The fact checkers on Facebook. So the fact checkers on Facebook has been a boon in people's lives. People have entirely left the platform because of how the fact checkers work. It's just basically, if you have a political opinion that they don't like, they take your stuff down. And it really is that. It really was that. Oh, you don't like the jab? Guess what? You can't post anything, and we're going to limit your reach, and we're going to do all this stuff, and we're going to be the fact checkers, and we're going to... They even go as far as like blurring out photographs, and you have to click it and all that stuff just to see the photograph of a meme. And it's really crazy. Eric Westrim, thank you so much. Gifting 5 members to the channel. Wow, that's amazing. Everybody right there, everyone right here, those 5 people, get on the chat and give Eric a big thank you. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Wow, that's fantastic. So Zuck is going for this. He's trying to earn the trust back of the American populace, the Western world, Canada, Britain, everywhere else, and he's having a bit of a hard time. Karen, if the topic comes up, I'm sure he'll take a dive into it. I don't know where that was. I'll have to find out later. But so this killed me. Good friend of mine, Jeff Sanders, sent me this headline. New York Times, Meta says fact checkers were the problem. Fact checkers rule that as false. And you know what? I thought this was a joke. I thought this was a meme. I thought somebody made this because you could make like fake headlines. But no, I said like, no, Jeff, that's fake. That's fake. He says, no, here's the link. I've got it on the archive today because it's behind a paywall. I'm not going into the article, so I'm not worried about that. They don't even let you look at the headline. without going through the paywall. But here's the headline. Meta says fact checkers were the problem. Fact checkers rule that false. Fact checking groups said that worked with Meta said they had no role in deciding what the company did with the content that they fact checked. Oh, that was fact checked. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah, right. Let's get to some of these chats. Sorry, I've missed those. Eat Me for $5 says, have you seen the Ollie London vid about a New York food truck vendor grabbing a pigeon on the street and bringing it back to the food truck? Pigeon kebab. No, I didn't hear that story. That's terrible. Ollie London is an interesting account because Ollie London was a boy who got tricked by the woke mind virus that he wanted to be a Korean. He was an English guy, I believe. And he went through all of the surgeries to make his face look Korean. I believe that's the guy, right? And then found out he was, gender dysphoric because another social contagion. And he went through all that stuff, and then snapped to it after all of that and went back to being a normal just bloke. And now he's an advocate for railing against this woke mind virus. So yeah, big shout out to him for at least waking up, even though he's done all that damage. I remember the white dude who went full on Korean. Yeah, that was him. I believe that was him. Michael Hostetler. Yeah, I'm pronouncing that right. All the T's and L's together, I don't know, my dyslexia just nails me. Michael Hostetler, ugh, with a $2 super chat. Clyde equals real talk and trust. Freedom equals freedom of speech. It's the way it is. Mwah, chef's kiss. I love it. That's the way we do it. And sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we gotta come back, redact what we said, eat crow, whatever. It's more about just at the end of the day learning the truth, right? That's what it's all about. So anyway, getting back to this, the evil lizard person himself. I mean, I joke about that for all the Toronto Star journalists that are watching the live stream right now. I don't believe there's actual lizard people. It's a joke. It really is. And the whole Canada becoming a 51st state is a joke. Get over it. Just you gotta talk to the Toronto Star journalists every once in a while, because man, I get emails fishing. Woof. Lol, except Mark. Clyde sounds good. Smooth to me. Oh, was somebody had a issue with the audio? A dyslexic guy walks into a bra. I like that. I always thought it's funny that I became this guy, the dyslexic mechanic that reads news to people on the internet. Okay, of all the professions someone could have, that's one. But let's listen to this. So Libs of TikTok put this out there saying, "Holy stuff." Mark Zuckerberg says that Biden admin called his employees and screamed and cursed at them to take down COVID vaccine content. They wanted Meta to censor memes too. When he pushed back, the Biden regime started investigating his companies. It was brutal. This is illegal, absolutely, but intimidation that no entrepreneur is going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to fight the system. Like most, well, not no entrepreneur, but most roll over. Believe it. It's the way it goes.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse. And it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Oh, did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails, the emails are published. It's all kind of out there. And they're like, and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They wanted us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're going to see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment, like this sort of like class action lawsuit type meme. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true. And then at some point, I guess, I don't know, it flipped a bit. I mean, Biden, when he gave some statement at some point, I don't know if it was a press conference or to some journalists, where he basically was like, these guys are killing people. And I don't know, then like all these different agencies and branches of government basically just like started investigating and coming after our company. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, that is brutal. It's brutal. It's the regime going after individuals, going after businesses with quid pro quo. Do this or we will investigate you. Why is the FBI not marching in and cuffing people? This is crazy. It's crazy to hear this kind of news. Why are they not calling Zuckerberg up and saying, well, maybe they will after the Trump administration, after they change who runs the FBI? Perhaps that kind of thing might happen. This is brutal, though. This is unacceptable. Absolutely. This kind of behavior can't fly, but it does. And this is all stuff that we had suspicions of, that we thought was happening, but really had no proof. And people like Zuck were not, talking about it then. Zuck said, flip the bit, trying not to sound like a lizard. Yeah. And this is why I said, like, I don't know, it'll take a bit before I trust him. It's but we should also have room for forgiveness for people that do flip and turn around and come to. Yeah, we got to open ourselves up for forgiveness, but don't be an idiot. People could screw you over. And that's the thing. Why did he allow it then? Well, Tamara, welcome to the show, by the way. Yeah, that's a good question. Why didn't he fight it? But, it's called being a coward. It really is. It's called being a coward. And so, people can be a coward and then one day say, be inspired to no longer be a coward. There was a lot of us, Tamara, that were afraid to stand up, and somebody jumped in a truck and woke a lot of people up, and then that courage came flooding in. So let's not forget that, Tamara. You know what I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about you, Tamara. Anyway, thank you for what you've done, of course, and everybody always. I'm sure you hear it a lot, but that is a thing. Yeah, good point. Exactly. Sometimes it takes people to make a move. And what Zuck said, I can't remember who he was being interviewed by. He was inspired by Trump when they tried to assassinate him. He was shot in the ear, and he gets up after being shot at, being hit, pumps his fist and says, "Fight, fight, fight." That is motivational. Whether or not he was being truthful in that sentiment, I don't know. I mean, he's the Zuck. I mean, wow. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna take a lot for us to really trust him. But we gotta open up the possibility that he's being sincere in his turnaround. Matt Monk for $10 says, "What's the way out of this, Clyde? We're surrounded by enemies. Our government is not just undermined, it's rotten to the core. How do we even recover from this? It seems like there's no way out." There's absolutely a way out. What are you talking about? There's totally a way out. I mean, Trump has shown us the way out. He's totally shown us the way out. Stand up, do a thing, and then find good people. Surround yourself with good people. He surrounded himself with pretty bad people first go around, but there was good people. And inspire other people to jump in and get involved with you. And what did they do? They took over the establishment party. They took over one of the big establishment parties with legitimate people that wanted a good outcome for the country. And that's what they did. Eat Me for $2 says, "Send the pigeon kebab link, general Discord, the general Discord chat." If we get to it, we got a lot of things to talk about. So yes, there is a lot we can do. And I've been encouraging people, get involved in the party politics, get involved at the party level, because this is what people figured out in the United States. Actually, in Canada, so certain groups have figured this out already. The Chinese have figured this out. The certain East Indian groups have figured this out. All of the election meddling that we're hearing about, what is it? It's meddling in our primaries, in our party elections. They don't have to mess with the general election to give us a virtual choice that is not a choice. It's the guy that's for them versus the guy that's for them. What we do is we got to turn that around. We've been asleep at the wheel for way too long. We need to wake up and take charge. Go grab that steering wheel. Give her a tug. Send her in the right direction. Like Giver for $10 says, when Musk bought Twitter, the FBI packed up and left the building. Yeah, they did. In a hurry as well. They left a lot of evidence behind, which is great. And thank God for Matt Taibbi and a lot of other hardworking individuals that have been pouring over the Twitter files. That is massive. That's massive, and it's great. It's great to see. And this is how we come back. Again, the reason why it's gotten so bad is because everyone's become complacent. Everyone's been super easygoing. Oh, whatever. We're the land of, good government and all that. Yeah, no, we're not. No, we're not. Not anymore. Not anymore. And we can get there. We can be that land again. It's just going to take some hard work. But we can have a lot of fun along the way. Don't you see? Like, we're having fun right now. We're having fun all the time. When we get together, we're all having fun. And it's a good time. Look at what they did in Argentina. They're paving the way. We don't even have to come up with a new plan. All we got to do is look at what works and emulate that. Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. It's great. So yeah, roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves and let's get to work. Oh, holy cow. Yes, Cindy. What does Cindy say? I missed it. Asmongold endorses Pierre. We're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. Hopefully, we're working our way through a bunch of stuff. By the way, the Liberals are having their election to bring in a new leader, and they have a candidate. He's right on top of things. Who's this guy? What was his name? Aria launches liberal leadership campaign. Anybody in the chat know who this guy's name is? Aria something. I just got a kick out of this. Obviously, this guy's not going to win for obvious reasons. But here he is in an interview saying that it doesn't matter that he doesn't speak French to be the Prime Minister of Canada.
How's your French?
Nope.
No French?
No French.
Okay, the Liberal Party of Canada is the party of official bilingualism. It's going to be a tough one. I don't speak
You got to be proficient in English too, but whatever.
French either, so
The point is that whether the Quebecers or English Canadians, it's not the language that matters, it's what is that they deliver to them.
But the language matters very much in Quebec.
No. At the end of the day, Quebecers see who delivers what. We have English speaking.
Oh, Quebecers don't care about language. Tamara Leach saying, for $6.99, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Thank you so much. All we have to do is unite and work together. Put in a little effort, and we got this. We got it. We could do this. And don't fall asleep when your guy gets in. Because again, if, cool, Pierre's going to get in. He's going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. That's going to be fantastic. But what do we all do? We all walk away, and then the lobbyists walk in, and the international globalists walk in, and they start lobbying them immediately? No, we got to push them aside. No. There's a new lobby team in town, and we like to play street hockey, and we like to do this kind of thing. That's what's got to happen. We got to have, real Canadians start our own lobby groups. People are always like, oh, you got to get the lobbyists out of Ottawa. Why? We just need to be the lobbyists. That's what we need. There are great lobby groups. There's the there's like lawyer groups, JCCF, like all these other teams. Then you have the CCFR. You know, we have our own gun lobby. We have all these things. Start, you know, I'm not saying give them your life savings, but if you got a couple of bucks here or there, send them a couple of bucks. Write a message on it saying thank you for your hard work. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everything that you're doing for us. You know, fighting these hard battles against bureaucrats in Ottawa. Thank you. Keep it up. This is what we do. We support the people that are working hard, and then you ask them, is there anything I could do for you? Could I give out leaflets? Could I come to an event? Can I volunteer? Could I set up tables for you? I don't know. Whatever. Like there's so many people that think that I got so little to offer. But you don't realize how much you actually do have to offer. It's just there's a lot of like little logistics things that people have such a hard time doing, that if you were to volunteer and just say, hey, you know, I'm in this area, and if you ever do an event, put me on a Rolodex, you know, because you can call me up and I'll come and I don't know, move tables and be a physical laborer for you for the day, kind of thing. Awesome. That kind of thing goes, it goes so far. It's crazy. Like, people don't realize how much help you can be without having to be like a lawyer or a doctor or any of these things. It really is. Invest in Clyde, that will help. Yeah, well, I really appreciate all of that. I think it's fantastic. But I do encourage people to go to, you know, all these other real lobby groups out there as well. It really helps. It really, really, really does. So yeah, there's so much we can do. Get involved. Go out and meet people. When you hear about an event that's happening with whatever, even if the NDP are meeting up, go out there and meet them, meet the people there, have a conversation with them. You don't have to get into an argument with them and have a debate, bro. You just talk to them and say, you know what, I don't know if I agree with you, but whatever. You're my neighbor, and you know, care about how the country's going. That's the thing. That really is. So how can you get involved on a party level, Clyde? Contact them first. Give them a call. There's a website. Whatever party you want to get involved with, whether it's provincial, municipal, federal, they have a website. They have a mailing address. They have contact on every one of those things. I mean, I cold call people because I'm trying to get a hold of them to get information, stuff like that. You can do the same. Give them a shout. Hi, my name is this. Make it brief. If you give them a huge long thing, it's always like golly, you know, TLDR, please. Make it brief and to the point. Hi, I'd like to volunteer. I would like to extend my services. These are some of the things that I can do. If I'm ever, you know, at your disposal, I can be at your disposal. So if it's ever necessary, give me a shout and I'll make myself available. That kind of thing. Very simple. Yeah, contact your MP. It doesn't have to be your MP. It can be the other party that's not in power there. Just contact them with your local riding. That's a great thing. Talk to Wyatt Claypool. He's got great advice. What a fantastic guy to talk to. Yeah, there are so many channels. Get a membership at your local gun club. Holy cow, there's so many great ideas right here in the chat. I have a Lib membership looking at Carney. You're looking at Carney? We were hoping to get Mark Garrettson in. Clyde, opening line is oh golly. Yep. I am in Coldstream. Oh, okay. Sign up with Wyatt Claypool. Yes. Yeah. Get on it. Wyatt's a young man. He's got a whole political career ahead of him. It's unbelievable. I can't wait to see how that develops. Fantastic guy. Robert McFallon with $5 super chat says, "Are you following the Helen Gruss persecution?" No, I haven't been following that. So I'll have to look into that if that's if that's a story of interest. So no, I haven't been following that. Sorry, no. But anyway, I was playing this clip. It's funny because the guy's talking about how, it doesn't matter. It's more about the merits than whether or not you can speak French. And the part is that I'm laughing about is he's actually right. It shouldn't matter. But that's not that it doesn't matter. Yes, Clyde, you should check her case. Okay, I should. Okay, let me make a note of this. I'm gonna put this off to the side. Okay, I have that noted, so I'm gonna look into that. Thank you. Absolutely, Robert McFallon. Thank you so much for that. But so it shouldn't be the case, especially with modern technology today. Why should we care if somebody's bilingual in French and English? Why? Just like the European Union, they have their little dongle in the House of Parliament. They have their little dongle. They listen to it. The interpreters do all this stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be bilingual. I mean, obviously it would be handy, and that's cool. There's a lot of things that are handy that are not required, and that's one of those things. Being bilingual, French and English. Now, I do think that people should, just as a brain exercise, and I encourage parents to teach their kids this. Get your kids into a second language. It's a great brain exercise. It keeps your brain sharp. It's a good thing, whether it's French and English. I'm bilingual in Japanese and English. Other people, whatever. There's tons of languages in this great nation that you could be studying and learning. It's just a good brain exercise, but that's besides the point. The point here is that no, it should not actually matter. It shouldn't matter, but there is a group of people that it matters too much to. And Alexandra Lavoie is putting this one out there, saying this man is delusional if he thinks he can win. The language doesn't matter, is what is delivered to him. Coucou, I'm French. It does matter. Bye bye. Now, politically, yeah, it is a bye bye because you won't get any votes for it. But the reality is you should be getting jobs based on your merit, not on these stupid things. I don't think that's even worth a merit point, in my opinion. Now, being bilingual is a merit in its own because of what I just explained. But learn Arabic, you'll need it. Woof. Eesh. Or Punjabi or Cantonese, who knows? Anyway, this is a great clip because this is Elon Musk pointing this out.
If we lower standards for what it takes to become a board-certified surgeon or, an oncologist or something where the kind of disease we're talking about, if you make a mistake, causes someone to die, then more people will die than if we don't lower the standards.
Yes.
Therefore, we should not lower the standards. I think we should treat people according to their skills and their integrity, and that's it. If we lower standards.
Yes, it should be the case. Bumpy Johnson saying, you say that, but the Conservative Party has disqualified countless local candidates to appoint party donors. Ask Wyatt Claypool. I know. And I disagree with this about the Conservative Party. I'm not a shill. I'm not like some cheerleader that just waves pom-poms for the Conservatives. I'll definitely call them out on all the things I disagree with. Absolutely. Eric Westerheim, again, with another 5 memberships gifted to the channel. Thank you so much. Everybody who just got a membership, get in there and give Eric a big thank you for that, because I'm giving a big thank you. That's really great. Thank you so much. It helps out the channel a ton, and we're going to put this to some great use moving forward. And hopefully we're going to make more trips. That's the plan. Marty and I were hoping to make more trips, make to different places where we could do these meetups and get more people introduced to each other. That really, at the end of the day, is the goal of all of that. But yes, getting back to the merits thing, I don't think that should be a merit. As Elon Musk was saying, if you want the best oncologist, we want the best economist to be the person running the books in Canada. That would be the best. But instead, we get the best person for the job that has French and bilingual, and also, I don't know, fits Justin Trudeau's idea of what it means to be 2015. That's how we got our last finance minister. But this is it's absolutely absurd. We're not hiring people based on who's good for the job. We're hiring people based on a bunch of other criteria that just don't make any sense. And again, Elon's talking about the whole concept of DEI. Well, DEI has had a long history in Canada, and I hate to break it to some people, but the French English thing is part of DEI. It's just, even though it's been around a lot longer, it is that. Clyde never says hit the like, so I'm telling you, I forget. I end up forgetting people to tell people to do a lot of these different things. That's true. So everybody hit that like button. There's a lot more of you in the chat than there are likes. So love to see that. It's free. It's right down. Is it over there? Hit that button. It helps out a ton. 25% of Canadian workforce now has government job. Yeah, it's crazy. It's I don't think the number's that low. Actually. I think it's higher than that, which makes it worse. Makes it tremendously worse. But let's get into this, because I wanted to bring this up because, oh, it's god awful. Did I lose the other clip? I had 2 clips. I hope I didn't lose the other clip. Oh, I might have to pull that up again. Holy cow. Where did it go? Where did my clip go? Unreal. It shouldn't be hard to find. Angela Cordoso with a $5 super chat says that Aria guy who wants to run for the Liberal Party, his House of Commons profile says he speaks English and French. No, you just lie on your resume, you get any job. That's just the way it works. Oh, that's just the way it works. That's hilarious. Okay, I found the clip, but now you're making me think of other things. There's a guy in the US. He was he's an Indian guy, dark-skinned Indian, and American, obviously, but like of dark-skinned Indian origin, I guess you would say. So he cut his hair different and tried to mimic looking like a black person, and then claimed to be a black person so that he could get into a university, because as an Asian it was a lot more difficult, but as an African American he was able to get into med school, and then he wrote a book about that. Wrote a book about his experience doing that, and yeah, it's pretty funny. I can't remember the name of the book, but I think he was on Tucker Carlson or one of those shows. It was really funny. But yeah, I found the clip. So this is the one I wanted to talk about. So Justin Trudeau defining what a Canadian is on American TV, nonetheless.
Canadians are incredibly proud of being Canadian. One of the ways we define ourselves most easily is, well, we're not American. Canadians
with the at the end, just throwing that one in there again. Now, some people might say that, hey, this is a gaffe. This wasn't Trudeau actually saying that. It wasn't a thing that he was trying to go for. It just, you have your what it was Marty call it, a bozo explosion, where you say something you didn't mean. It's a gaffe. Oops. No, it wasn't, because he said it again. He went out and he did another press conference and he said exactly the same thing. In his clip-clops, apparently he was wearing horseshoes as he walked out.
Bonsoir tout le monde. The issue, of course, of Canada-U.S. relations also came up a number of times today. When it comes to Canada being looked at as the 51st state, let me just state it again, that's never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
Canadians define themselves a whole bunch of different ways, but one of the ways that we all use as shorthand is
or Canadian because we're not American. And that is not going to change.
No, it's going to change, pal. It's going to change. And, you know, I have heard that sentiment, but I don't think that is the way to clip clop. Oh, wow, indeed, right? Oh, wow, indeed. Now, I mean, I think this guy might be in a bit of a fringe minority with that opinion, to say the least. But we don't define ourselves by being not American. I can't listen to this guy. Seriously, Trudeau, I mean. Clyde, you can talk all day, no problem. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. But it's one thing for him to say something stupid like this, but it's another thing for him to go to the United States and say a stupid thing like this. What do you mean we don't have any identity? We don't have an identity. That's the thing. So, and it's not just him. It's his whole Liberal Party. The Liberal Party tweeted this out. This is a tweet that they put out. This is crazy. For anyone who may be confused. Yeah, just in case you're confused. There's the United States, and there is the not United States. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. I replied to it saying, wow, you've lowered Canadian to the status of simply not the United States. Great work. Great work. You nailed it. You nailed it, Liberal Party. Completely just off their rockers. You want to have an idea of what it's like to be Canadian? Well, there's a bunch of people a number of years ago that have an idea of what it's like to be Canadian. You know, maybe you can go back and watch some of this footage, man. I'm not kidding. Some of the footage that was, oh my goodness, that went out across the world. Let people know what it's like to be a Canadian, what it means to be a Canadian. So much happened in a short period of time that defined a lot of the characteristics of what it is to be Canadian. To be wholesome, to be wholehearted, to care about your neighbors, to be so full of joy and so full of, I mean, the humility, the courage that came out, some of them a bit brazen, a bit brash. There's so much that makes us Canadian. There's so much involved in it. It's amazing. I'd love to play the music, but it's always copyrighted music and all these. But look at this. This is what defines Canadian. A man coming up to absolute strangers with only one look and handing them supplies. Good on you. Go. We got your back. That's being Canadian. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. It's not some BS going to the United States and telling a bunch of people what defines us is that we're not American. Give me a freaking break. Give me a freaking break. If that guy wasn't sitting in his cottage, the coward of the cottage, when this was going on, when this was happening, he might have learned a little bit of what it was like to be a Canadian. This is what matters. This is absolutely what matters. And it kills me. It absolutely kills me that he can't even stop for a second to look past his hubris and see what's right in freaking front of him. That right there is what it is to be Canadian. Eat me for $2. Eat me for $2. You get me every time with that. Says, and the 12 Beers of Christmas by Bob and Doug. Oh, there's so many cultural things. I mean, there's a billion cultural things that you could say. But what it is, it's our hospitality. It really is. It's crazy when people are in a struggle, Canadians come through for each other. And it's always been the case. No, he can't understand. Hoser, eh? Love it. You have to find the old Molson commercial when the Joe describes being Canadian. Yeah, and then yeah, Molson will take my whole channel down for that one. No, I know that one. It's a Chesterfield, not a couch. Clyde, you're 1,000% correct. It is. It is correct. USA, please take Canada. Trump 2025. And we're all rooting for Trump. And I'm a dual citizen, so like I come from, I feel like I have the best of both worlds, and the best of both places, and the best places. It's amazing, and I embrace both of it. I embrace all of it, and like it's not turning this into some divisive thing. It's not America's this, Canada's that. It's America's this and Canada's that. America's this and Canada is this, that as well. You know? Like that's it's not a us them situation. But this is the guy, Justin Trudeau, that can't get that past himself. He can't get past that it's gotta be, you know, them and them, pit them against each other. When he's run out of people to pit against each other in Canada, he tries to pit all of Canada against the United States. Are you insane? Are you insane? And his dad started it. His dad started this whole sentiment that it's, you know, being Canadian is defined by not being American. Stupid. You know, there are so many things that we have in common across the country that we have in common with our immediate neighbors south of us in the United States of America. If you're in Vancouver and, you know, the surrounding area, British Columbia, you go down to Washington, Oregon, you have a lot in common with those people. You probably have more in common with them than you do with people in Nova Scotia. Hate to break it to you, but it's great, and that's fine. It means that we have a big set, and this is maybe a bad word to some people, diversity, but we've had diversity for a long time. We've had cultural differences across our own country. That's what makes us great. The convoy was fantastic because so many people of all of those different cultural enclaves throughout the country got together and got to share their differences, not pit their differences against each other as some bad thing. It's no, check out what we do in our area. I think you'll love this. Cool. Check out this other thing that we do in our area. I think you'll love this. We are the best country in the world. We just have a terrible, what was it? I missed that. We are the best country in the world, but our government does not define who we are. No, that we don't. And they don't even represent us. They don't even represent us. And especially in the current iteration, this concept of minority governments being able to, you know, prorogue government and rule by decree. No. And we're coming up on the anniversary of this to ignore the fact that this is what took place. Holy hell. Holy hell. Like, you just got to come to grips with that. But yes, we have so much to be proud of. We have so much that, you know, is the envy of the world. Is the envy of the world. We're not just defined by being not Americans. So you sit on that one, Trudeau, and the whole damn Liberal Party. You can sit on that one. Get with it. Like, you're trying to become relevant, and this is how you try to do it. More wobbly pops, eh? Yeah. I'm not even done one. Come on, give me a break. No, I'm getting emotional. I am, but this is why I started doing all of this. Holy cow, this is why I started doing all this, because I saw those my brothers and sisters, and I mean this quite literally, getting in their trucks and going down and saying, I've had enough. Nothing's more inspirational than that. Courage, the cowardly dog. $2 says, kept me occupied until the end of the shift. Beer o'clock. Time to have her. Get her. Go on, get it. Go on, get it. Enjoy it. Absolutely. Ah, man. I got a little lump in the throat and teared up. Yeah, getting emotional. And this is why we love you, Clyde. This is why I love you guys back. You share this moment with me. I love this. Sit on it, little potato. Come on, Clyde. Show a little passion. I am. That's what I'm doing. Lillian Songs, trucks left Vancouver January 23rd, and we arrived on the hill January 29th. Yep, we're coming up on that anniversary. Whew. I came in at the right time. Yeah. Rant, Clyde, rant. Well, we're going to get into more. Don't worry about it. Agreed. We love you, Clyde, and all the Clydesters. It's you guys, all of you. 6 beer and missing your piano. Yes. Okay, this is a big contentious thing for me in Canada, because there are people that say it both ways, and I'm sorry, but this is probably going to turn into a giant debate out there, and maybe I should make this one of those things. I gotta say it. I gotta do the what do you call it? Engage with your audience. Start a poll. The plural for beer is what is the plural for beer? And start the poll. What is it? What is it, folks? When you're counting how many you had. Oh no, it's not going in my favor. Oh no, it is now. It is now. Okay, there we go. So I gotta address this one. I gotta address this one because I hear it all the time and it irks me. It irks me to no end. So yes, beer as a liquid, there's no way to count that. And I have to explain this to like my wife because she's ESL, and I have to explain this to my kids because they're also bilingual, and they're like, why do you say it this way, not that way? It's like deers. No, it's not like deer. It's not like goose. It's beer as a liquid can't be counted in a number, but as soon as you put it in a vessel, then when you say a beer, you're talking about how many of the vessels that you had. So you're talking about how many cans of beer, you're talking about how many bottles of beer, how many glasses of beer. So you're saying beers. But I hear it all the time as just beer with no S. And I know people are going to totally disagree with me on this, but I have to throw it out there. It's making me laugh. It's making me laugh. I've been bringing this one up for a while. How many beer did you have? No, how many beers did you have? No, many, it was with an S. Or you could say, how much beer did you have? How much beer? And then you're like, I don't know. I didn't count the liters. I had 20 beers. You know, who drinks that many? But you know what I mean. If you had that many, you'd talk like that. Depends on bottles or cans. What? That's absurd to me. That's how horses talk. I had 20 beer, eh? That's how hosers talk. Yeah. Incidentally, like some people don't. Okay, for my American audience out there, the word hoser, it gets thrown around a lot, and some people don't know what the word hoser means. I'll get right back to that. Rick, Quintania? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. I'm just going to call you Rick. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Well, when you say you're doing a beer run, you're talking about getting a lot of beers. Yes! You're doing a beer run. You're not doing a beers run, but oh, this is funny. Okay, so for the American audience in the chat, people watching that don't know what the word hoser means, it's an old euphemism, an old thing that we would say in Canada, and it dates back. Long live Bob and Doug McKenzie, LOL. Yeah. Am I giving away the secrets? Should I not spill the beans, Canadians? Should I not tell them? Should I not tell them the secret of what? No, I'm going to tell them. Okay, so what it is back in the day before the Zamboni was invented. If you don't know what a Zamboni is, it's the thing that cleans the ice and makes it nice. It's that truck that they drive out on the ice between periods. Well, they didn't before they had that to clean up the ice. You would have to wet down the ice at the end of the game, and it was always the job of the loser team. So the team that lost the game, they'd have to get out there with the hose and hose down the ice. Hence being a hoser. And that was where that came from. So like, a lot of people hear that hoser thing and they don't get it, but that's where it comes from. So it's synonymous with being a loser. Calling somebody a hoser. Peter Witten for $5 says, problem is after 12 of them, you claim to have had 12 beers, which is craziness. Worser. LOL. I started the debate, the great beer versus beers debate. Denny Ringaz for $6.99 says, what do you think about Mr. Wonderful talking about doing an economic union with the United States? Yeah, it's a great segue into that. Now, I had a clip. I don't know if I still have the clip. I do have the clip. So let's pop this up. Might as well preface it with the actual clip of him saying this, and then I'll answer your question.
So you have suggested Canada could benefit from an agreement with the U.S. similar to the EU. Let's pretend we're on Shark Tank right now. What is your pitch?
Give us your pitch for the American Union.
The economies are so intertwined that there's huge potential here. You know, the polling in Canada was, do you want to sell your sovereignty? And obviously, nobody wants to do that. However, I'm very fortunate. I have over 10 million social media followers, so I poll them myself. There's a lot of interest in understanding what the economic benefits of union could look like. So why not just merge the currencies, give 2 seats on the Federal Reserve to the Bank of Canada, and every Canadian that I've talked to would gladly take American dollars in exchange for their Trudeau pesos, which is the reason Trudeau lost his job. He wiped out 41% of the net worth of every Canadian in his 9 years in a mandate. So he was a very poor manager. I think people understand that now. And so that's number one. Number two, a uni passport. That's just the nickname I gave it. Each country, if you had a Canadian passport in good standing and you had a U.S. passport in good standing, regardless of where you were born, you could apply for a uni, which would give you free passage in both directions at one tax rate, with no deductions. And so that's how you can control immigration, because you would say to a student that's trying to get into MIT or to Waterloo Robotics, you need to apply for a uni. And if you pass for it, you can move your family here and you get to stay and work in this country. That would solve the problem. You'd control immigration with the uni, and so on and so on. There's just so many opportunities. Okay. Nobody said you have to sell your sovereignty, but many Canadians are interested in exploring the economic union.
Okay, so his idea is not becoming the 51st state, but having this union, the how about an omni pass? So, first off, the idea of merging the currencies, the average American would be very much against that. They would not want to lose a bunch of their purchasing power immediately by buying out the Canadian currency and merging the two dollar for dollar. That would be bad for the Americans, good for the Canadians or people that are holding Canadian dollars. An indication of that would, like, if they were looking to do that, you would see a lot of people buying Canadian dollars in the short run, because it would be like a currency exchange thing, and watch you're buying a bunch of Canadian dollars in order only to be able to purchase back American dollars after that were to take place. The other thing is, if they just dollarize Canada, then anyone who holds Canadian dollars would instantly lose all of their wealth. So that's a tricky one. I think Javier Milei has a way around that. It's like an attrition thing of the Argentinian peso to dollarize their economy. That I'd have to look more into the ins and outs of how he actually plans that. As for the economic openness between Canada and the United States, I'm actually all for that. And I'm not necessarily all for his plan, but I'm all for an idea of opening up the economy so businesses can trade back and forth to the United States. I'm talking business to business. Canadian businesses could have access to the American economy and the American consumer, as well as the American companies would have access to the Canadian consumer. At the current position, it's actually the Canadian government is the worst offender in this. The Canadian government has way too many restrictions and stipulations on trade that make it difficult for American companies to sell to Canadian purchasers, Canadian consumers. American consumers can buy Canadian products. They tend to avoid them unless they're like niche products, because if you could buy it in the States, you would pay less money because it's produced for less, all of that stuff. So, and it wouldn't have any of the taxes going across the border. It would eliminate basically, going to the States to go shopping and then come back over the border. You wouldn't have to pay duties and customs and all of that stuff. I'm all for that. I'm absolutely for that. I think our Canadian retailers should compete with American retailers. I think that would be healthy. To open up the economy in that way. It would leave us way less isolated economically and more open. You may see some, and this is the problem with trade protectionism, is you'll have a lot of people saying there will be immediate companies going bust and all of these things, economic downturn for certain sectors of the economy. Yes, that's correct. And it's because of the economic trade protectionism that's protecting those markets currently. When those markets are no longer protected, the consumers are no longer stuck with having to purchase from those particular suppliers. And we're talking about a myriad of different things, all the way from the milk lobby to just widgets that you buy from. I work in the automotive industry, so people want to buy a lift kit for their truck. A lot of the American kits they can't get, so they have to buy it through a Canadian supplier, big markups and all that stuff. It would be easier to just buy it from the States. So the Canadian ones would probably go out of business. That's the way it works. But they have expertise, and they would end up doing other things, and it would be more useful long run. So it's a much better way of operating. Joe says, Clyde says, you're doing a good job if a few still not hitting the like button. Oh, yeah. Get on down there and hit that like button. What's going on? We're like 50 behind parity. Come on, you guys can do it. The milk mob afuera. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Rock Auto says Gordon Heffman, member for 13 months. Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome, Gordon. Yeah, Rock Auto. A lot of people are going that way anyway. Like a lot of this is happening. So what you would see is a lot more convenience in Canada. Absolutely. And lower prices and people being freed up to do better stuff rather than trying to replicate businesses that already exist in the United States that could serve us just fine. And we could provide a number of products that Americans would actually appreciate and like, and wouldn't have to be marked up. So we would have access to a giant demographic, not the small 40 million demographic that we have in Canada, which by the way has this giant distance between. And then you would have things like courier businesses that would be able to travel between the countries and do all of that stuff. I think that would be fantastic. Dale, have a great night. I hope you have a great rest. Thanks for coming out. Trish Prue saying, after last night's, I'm open to having a republic. Yes. How we get there is complicated. Depends on the way that we end up doing it. But that's the thing. I deal with Rock Auto daily. They're great. I deal with Rock Auto. I deal with a number of other suppliers. It's always good to have competition in the market. And Rock Auto's come in and they're filling a particular portion of the market that was lacking. And great, they found it. They're doing it and they're making a profit. Good on them. Absolutely good on them. So the idea is it's there. And the problem though is I think for the most part, America has always been kind of open and willing to do this. It's always been the Canadian side that's been the hard sell. It's been the problem. And we need to really lobby and put pressure on our officials to say, nah, you know what? We're more into the free market. We're more interested in a free, open market where we can trade freely with the United States. I mean, think about it. Like, having trade restrictions between provinces is bad enough. It's bad enough. Like if you look at anyone who's involved in like making beer or any wine, spirits, that kind of thing, the interprovincial stuff is bad enough. Get rid of that stuff. We need to scrap that. It's protectionism. If your province has good distilleries, let them shine. Don't hold them back. And don't hold the consumer to only buy that product because you want to make sure that distillery does whatever in your province. I think it's dumb. Yeah, that's right. It's called freedom. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right, Dale. It's called freedom. We need to have a little bit of a taste of it. And yeah, like, holy cow. The fact that freedom for lefties has become this like bad word is so crazy. And I prefer the term liberty. Like I prefer the term liberty because it's more encompassing. But the fact that like at one point I used to see it on Twitter every day where leftards, like these leftoids, they would write freedom and they would spell it DUMB at the end. Are you kidding me? Are you like, I personally want to volunteer buying plane tickets to China for those people. One-way plane tickets, by the way. Like, just off you go. Off you go. You know, have that one-way vacation to Cuba. Enjoy it. They got a lot of doctors, no medicine, but a ton of doctors. You know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that people have that sort of sentiment. I mean, hello, Clydesters. We're going to try to stay on as long as I can. Awesome. That's great. They still do it to this day. It's unbelievable to me. It really is. Oh, poor baby's Fifi's hurt. Who's Fifi's? Ameridum? Is that a thing? People say that? But yes, the free dumb thing is just unreal. But anyway, I do prefer the term liberty because that's great. Now, the whole back and forth with this, you know, America's taking over has become a real joke. And, you know, in America, it's a joke. They're laughing. They're laughing. It's not real. It's not a real thing. And Canadians are getting really upset about it. It's astonishing to me. And here's a clip. I cut it up and I did a short with this, but here's the actual clip. And this is Jesse Waters kind of trolling Dougie Boy over this. And well, I'll let it play right after I read this. CRT Lee for $6.99 says, what is this? Herder of freedom is pretty insulting for many people who migrated from Hong Kong to escape from the HKNSL too. Yeah, absolutely. It is insulting. It's insulting. It's insulting to anybody, whose family fought for freedom. In wars, people have fought, in our military, people who have escaped horrendous places with dictators, with communism, with warlords, with whatever. And they came here dying to breathe free, just struggled to make it. And then you have a bunch of people going, oh, but you didn't want to be forced into a medical procedure. You and your freedom. Like, you serious? Going against the old Nuremberg Code and all. But, whatever. That's why my mom, says Angela Cordoso, immigrated to the U.S., to Canada, before Hong Kong reverted back to China. Oh, I was not aware of that. I'm definitely glad that they got out. Holy cow. Yeah, because, China said that they weren't going to change anything, and then they immediately changed things. And, it was an economic powerhouse. This is the craziest thing. People don't realize that are on the side of authoritarianism. They don't realize that freedom is the most, it's the thing that drives the biggest it's the biggest economic driver on the planet. Freedom of association, free commerce, free markets, free enterprise. This is what drives economic prosperity and brings up productivity massively. Look at Hong Kong. What is Hong Kong? What does Hong Kong have to offer? Really? Look at Hong Kong geographically. What does it have to offer? It's a little island in South Pacific. They don't have giant swaths of farmers' fields. They don't have oil tankers. They don't have massive natural resources. What do they have? They have a location that's close by to a lot of different countries that was a free market zone. It was a free place where people could come and do commerce with each other. Not having to deal with all these stupid trade restrictions. I think this is coming full circle. I think we're coming full circle now. We're going right back to this whole idea of why is it stupid to have trade restrictions? Because they limit economic activity. Holy cow. And people will go way out of their way just to go to a little tiny island in the South Pacific, just so that they could go and meet with another person and go, hey, yeah, that's a great deal. How about I buy your widgets and give you things for it? Holy cow. It really is that. It really is that. It's amazing to me. Anyway, getting to the story. So this is Jesse Waters talking to Dougie Boy, Ontario proud Dougie Boy, who incidentally started taking up the reins of whoa, Trudeau, don't do what you're doing, and started talking sense to the Americans. But of course they had to come in and troll him because he has zero power to do anything. He really does.
All right, Premier. By the way, I loved your brother. We did an interview. Great guy. Yeah, what's your problem with the United States absorbing Canada?
Well, first of all, Jesse, I love the U.S. I love Americans, and I get it. President-elect Trump is a real estate tycoon. He's made billions, but that property's not for sale. As simple as that. But I have a better idea, Jesse. Why don't we create Fortress Amcan and make sure it's the richest, wealthiest, most prosperous jurisdiction in 2 countries anywhere in the world. We have the critical minerals, we have the energy, we have the electricity that America needs. And there's only one place I'd want to sell it to, and that's the U.S.
Well, you could sell it to us.
There's only one place I want to sell it to. What are you? Smoochy smooch, come here, give me that butt. Get out of here. I sell widgets. I'll sell them to whoever wants to buy them for the highest price. That's how it works. That's how economies work, man. But yeah, of course, we have a tremendous trading partner just south of us. Just why do you guys sound like such a pansy saying it? I don't get it. I don't get the approach. From Dougie Boy here, Peter Witten for $2 says, "Oh dears, I better go grab another one of them beers." Oh man, where are we at with the poll so far? 56% saying beers. Beers is how it's said. What you cracking open there, Clyde? I'm cracking open a wobbly, no label wobbly pop. I could always hope for a wobbly pop sponsor if anybody knows one. Hit me up. But until then, they're staying in these koozies because they're great. And if Yeti wants to sponsor me, that would be fantastic. But yeah, just having some of those. You can come into the Discord later, and we can share wobbly pop preferences later. Get one of the mods to put the Discord link in the chat right here, so anybody who hasn't joined can jump in. We'll have a chat after the live stream to talk about that. Doug for Dunkin' Donuts. Yes, Dougie Boy, do not bastardize the proper English. It's beer, lol. I knew this was going to start a big debate. I knew it was going to start a big debate. You need to have beer koozies in your merch. Oh, but do you guys like just regular old beer koozies? I'm hooked on these ones. There's like solid. Whoa, there goes some of that solid metal, and they really keep them cold. Because I'll be sitting here for 2 hours, right? And it's not in a fridge. I'll sip the fuzz off of that one. But yeah, it won't be in a fridge, and it'll stay nice and cold, and that's fantastic. Because it'll take me 2 hours to get through like one and a bit, just because I'm yapping, not drinking. It's not beer. It is a tasty. There you go. For Clyde, it's beers. That's how you count vessels of a thing. That's how it works. Beers. How many beers did you have? I could hand E-Tech your logo on a medal, or I can what? E-Tech etch. I can hand etch your logo on metal. Interdasting. I wonder how that would work on these Yetis. That would be really cool. But that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't have license to use the Yetis. I don't know. I wonder how that would work. Either way, let's get back to this clip. So, yeah, I mean, he's trolling him.
Us, or we could all own it together, and that's a choice we can all make together. You say this isn't for sale, but everything has a price. The $1 Million Man says that. Can you think of this more as a merger instead of an acquisition? Don't think about being taken over. Think about this as a coming together.
It's
yeah, we can come together on a great trade deal. We're two greatest countries in the world. Do you know what the problem is? I've lived 20 years in the U.S. Matter of fact, I spent a lot of time in Philly, where you did, for 7 years, and in Chicago. There's not one American that I speak to out there, Jesse, that has a problem with Canada. Do you know what the problem is? China's the problem. China's shipping in cheap parts into Mexico, and then Mexico slapping a Made in Mexico sticker on, shipping it up through the U.S. and Canada, costing American and Canadian jobs. Like, Mexico has to make a choice, Jesse.
Doug, your Trump impression is terrible. It's not right. You got to do a little bit more of this, a little bit more pouty. You got. He's got the rhetoric. He just doesn't have the act.
I get
They're
it.
either with Beijing or Washington.
No, I get it. I get it. You say that Americans don't have a problem with Canadians, and we don't. But it seems like you have a problem with us, because if I were a citizen of another country and I was a neighbor of the United States, I would consider it a privilege to be taken over by the United States of America. That's what everybody else in the world wants. American citizenship. For some reason, that's repellent to you Canadians. And I find that personally offensive, Premier.
Well,
he's
know,
cracking up,
Jesse,
right?
We're
As he's
proud
saying
Canadians,
this.
just like there's proud Americans. And if we join together, and take on the world with a great trade deal between us, I think that'd be fabulous. No one could stop us.
Well, that's the point, because Trump says we're paying to protect Canada a lot, but Canada's ripping America off on trade. So why don't we just redraw the map to make it fair?
So we're the largest trading partner in the world, 1.3 trillion. So the only area that we have a little upper hand is
Mexico has you beat, but you're a close second. Go ahead.
So we ship down 4.3 million barrels a day down to the U.S. Ontario is the third largest trading partner in the world with $500 billion of two-way trade split down the middle. Jesse, 9 million Americans wake up every single morning to produce products for Ontario alone. I love the Americans, and I look forward to working with the new administration.
All right, so this might just have to be a hostile takeover. Let's move on. I see we are going to agree to disagree. Want to go halvesies on Greenland?
No, we're good.
No, we're good. We're good, he says. But this is it's a big joke, and that's where it's at. Like it really is just a joke. It's not serious. Nobody's trying to take over Canada legitimately, but this is where they're going. So Fox has been jumping on this story and making it more of a joke because it's hilarious. And Jesse Waters came up with another clip, I think just today, or was this yesterday? Just yesterday. So this is another funny one.
Are Canadians ready to become Americans? Are they ready to be taken over? We ship Johnny up north to find out.
Johnny up north.
Welcome to America.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Congratulations, you're about to become an American, eh?
No, I'm not going to become an American.
I don't think so, eh?
I don't see us joining America.
Don't
no.
do that. Don't be that.
No, I don't.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Oh, some people are just douchebags about it. It's funny. It's a joke. Just chill. Penny D with the $2 super chat says, beer or beers, we call them wobbly pops. That's I'm not messing around. They're wobbly pops. That's where we're at.
Haven't you always wanted to become an American?
No.
Of course not. I'm a proud Canadian.
You're about to become a proud American, 51st state.
No, I don't think so.
I probably won't even visit America while Trump is president.
Okay, that is just craziness. We're talking meeting real crazy people. This is the Canadian version of the no lady. The no. Really? You're not gonna visit the United States while Trump is president? Why? Because what? Trump's gonna somehow stop in at the Denny's and grab a pancake off your plate and eat it, lady? Get out of town. America's not changing. It's not gonna be any different. Oh God, this is just so funny to see the attitude of some people. Really.
Probably won't even visit America while Trump is president.
Bye-bye. Wave goodbye.
All right, fine. Bye. How much you want?
You can't buy me.
Name a price. 2 million, 3 million, 4 billion. What is it?
I don't think Canadians can be bought.
Oh,
yeah, they can. Serb. Oh, can I get a Serb in the chat? Come on. Canadians can't be bought. They were bought. They were bought for sure with payola from the Canadian federal government. Get out of town. Yeah, there we go. Can I get a Serb in the chat? Give me a Serb in the chat. Everybody that's in the chat, throw that one out there. Canadians can get bought. Surf. Yeah, we'll all be serfs because of that Serb. Absolutely. That is so funny. I can't be bought. There's no price on being Canadian. You sold us out to the UN, to the World Economic Forum. These woke types is craziness. You know, we're the post-national state. We're the first people with no identity, right? But as soon as Donald Trump's like, yeah, we're gonna take you over, it's like, no, I know, on my watch. I'm going down with this is my hill to die on. What are you talking about? The Serbs versus the Fringe. Oh boy, that's so funny. I got ripped off with no CERB too. I didn't get any CERB. I worked through it, the whole thing. I was one of those essential workers, like all the truck drivers. Remember those people that were essential workers? Yeah. And then the government tried to break us up in between people who were essential and non-essential. If you were labeled a non-essential person by our government and you were okay with that, you have Stockholm syndrome. I'm sorry, but I'm giving out a nationwide diagnosis of the people with the Stockholm syndrome that love their abuser. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so offensive that anybody would call another human being non-essential. Get out of here. Oh man, that's unbelievable. Every single one of us is essential. And what happens when all those essential, non-essential people were told to stay home? It turns out they were pretty dang essential because our economy tanked. Holy cow. Let's keep going with this.
Can't buy us.
Everybody's got a price.
No.
There's not enough money in the world.
Wow. All right. You guys are playing hard to get.
How about what, $50 a week? I don't know what it was. What was CERB? There's not enough money in the world to pay for the entitlements that I'm about to get. If we never get together, your money will be no good. The beer is on me. The beer is on you. Not the beers. The beers aren't on you. The beer is on you. So you're gonna have beer on you. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I kid. But this is hilarious. Man, I like this clip already.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not.
What do you have against America?
Love it. It's a beautiful country.
So come on over.
But we have Gord Lightfoot.
We have Lori Lightfoot.
Had Gordon Lightfoot, buddy. Come on. Pay attention. Would collab with Canadian Prepper. He's big on YouTube and Sensible Canadian. Sure. Introduce us. I'd love to get to know who Canadian Prepper is. Yeah. I think I'm subscribed to Canadian Prepper, but yeah. I'd love to. Absolutely. I love getting in touch with more people. It's always fun.
Very Lightfoot.
In case you forgot, I'm the mayor of the city.
Seems like
That's the wrong Lightfoot.
Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Trump says he wants you guys. What are you going to do about it?
Come for us, buddy.
I'll tell Trump to go scratch his ass.
We'll bore him to death.
Well, there's going to be a revolution.
You remember the last people that resisted.
I do. That's
The Indians.
No,
Didn't work out for them.
Excuse me. You're in Canada now, and you have to be politically correct.
We call them indigenous people here.
Oh, so you're politically correct.
We are. We're woke, as you say.
Everything woke turns to
Yes, it does.
Us Americans, we pay a lot of money to protect you guys. Don't you think we deserve some type of ownership stake?
You're brainwashed.
That's not very nice. I thought Canadians...
Brainwashed says the guy who clearly watches too much CBC. I love it. I love it. The irony. Oh, the irony. Oh, it's just so irony. It's so good. I love it. It's so, it just makes my night.
We're supposed to be nice.
Oh, we are very nice.
You sound like Mr. MAGA. I can't even deal with you any longer.
If you're a giver, you put things out into the world, good things are going to come back to you.
So the United States, we're the givers, and you guys are the receivers.
We receive humbly, happily.
As any receiver does.
As any receiver does.
You're all reading into that.
Think of all the perks. We never lose a Winter Olympics. You don't have to use a passport to go to Florida, and maybe you'll win a Stanley Cup.
We have health care.
But we have guns.
Yeah, well, we don't need guns.
Oh, I'm tired. I'm sick of this healthcare. We have healthcare thing. What do Canadians do when the healthcare fails us? What do Canadians do when healthcare fails us? We go to the United States. Yay! And we get taken care of. We have a 2-tier system in Canada. It's called socialized medicine, and then it fails us, and we go to the second tier, which is get it done, actually. And, you know, it usually ends up with like Give, Send, Go or whatever, so people can pay for it because we don't have medical insurance down there, clearly. But, and I'm not saying that the American insurance racket is a good scheme. No. But it's much better than the Canadian healthcare system by a long shot. By a long shot. Holy cow! You don't have millions of Americans or even thousands of Americans coming to Canada every year to get health services that they're not able to get in America. It's not happening. That excuse, I'm sorry, Mr. Mustache over here, but your argument, the 90s called and wants your argument back because it's not happening. I love Canadian Prepper. Okay, well I gotta make that happen. Let's make that happen. I definitely love to do that. Yeah, no, I'm sick of that argument. It's been a bad argument for a long time. The healthcare system is falling apart in Canada. So yeah, leave that one.
See your guns?
I don't have guns.
Wow, this guy didn't get it at all.
They're not sending their best.
No. Wow. Oh, that's great.
You guys are not doing too well over here. Your governor, I mean your prime minister, he just took a knee.
That was for the best.
His time with Trump is past.
What happened to Justin? Trump broke him so soon?
You got the Liberals were in power for a very long time.
Well, congratulations. You're an American now.
You got a Canadian flag too?
Why do we need one? I'm proud to be.
I like that lady. She's like, you have a Canadian one too, so we can like fly them both. Cool. Let's do that. If that's what she was saying. I hope that's what she was saying. Are you aware how much money people in the USA pay for health insurance? I have a friend in the US who pays $640 a month for his family of 4. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm absolutely aware of that. If you were aware of how much you paid for your health insurance, like if you broke it down and how much your tax money went, I'm sure it's in excess of that. And we get terrible service. So yeah, it's one of those things. And the tiny amount of healthcare that we actually do or are eligible for under our health insurance, when you look at other people's medical plans, it includes all the other things like the benefits that you would get through your employer, things like that. Most employers in the United States do just like Canadian employers do and cover you for health insurance. And I know this because I'm shopping for jobs in Texas at the moment. And as a professional technician, licensed, trained technician, every job comes with the header. Includes medical insurance, includes these things. A lot of these things they are worked out now, in Texas. So yeah, these are a thing. Now if you have entry-level position, a lot of those jobs, it's difficult to get that kind of thing, to get into that, and you have to get your own medical insurance, and that's tough. It's a tough spot, and I'm saying it's not an ideal situation, the United States, with the insurance racket, as I like to call it. There are people working steadfastly and hard to get them out of that third-party payer system, because really at the end of the day it's a really bad economic incentive system that takes place. I could do a whole stream about it, but I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like the founder of what's that grocer in the US, the Whole Foods. He had a great scheme that he worked out with his employees where they did a medical service plan, medical savings plan, and it worked out way better than just an insurance racket. And it covered catastrophic things, but it also made things cost money. Everything cost money. But there was an incentive to actually go out and shop around for prices. And the beauty of that system is because those people were actually shopping prices around with doctor to doctor, to get different procedures done. Obviously, it's not, medical emergencies. That's a different thing. That's a different type of insurance. Because of that, it was actually driving prices down. So if you push that a type of system like that out there, and again, I would love to get into this discussion long, but that's another show altogether. That's the kind of thing that can drive prices down. Doctors are not happy with the U.S. the third-party payer system in the U.S. The patients are not happy with the third-party payer system in the U.S. and the insurance companies are pulling in record profits. And that's a problem. That's a problem, and that's a thing that can be solved. But outside of that problem, they do have the best medical system in the world. It's undeniable. They're state of the art, and some of the best trained doctors, some of the best facilities on the planet. So yeah, the way that they dole it out, and it really depends on the state. It depends on your jurisdiction, all of these other things. But those systems can be improved upon. And I know there's great people with great minds working on that at the moment. And there's free market solutions for that. So I'm not doing this to single you out and argue with you. I'm doing this to agree with you that system's bad. And there are good ways of alleviating that problem, and so many good people are working at it. MAID is free here in Canada. Yeah, so that's the socialist system right there. MAID. At the end of the day, if you can't afford to help the people that have paid most of their income with the crappy medical system, you just give them MAID service. Anyway, let's move on because this is funny.
An American.
No.
Where at least I know I'm free.
No, you're not free. You think you're free.
I feel pretty free.
To
We're going to be on Jesse Waters Primetime, American Fox News.
Okay.
What do you want to tell them?
Come on up, Jesse.
Tell them we're from Canada, but we're America now.
Oh, no, you're not.
I love it. I love it. So that's tongue in cheek. It's great. And this is why, people like Gutfeld and all these guys are winning. They're winning the media race on who's going to get the best primetime slots, who's going to get like the best viewership. They're funny. Jesse Waters does a great program. Fox is just killing it at the moment with great programs. Although Fox as a whole, I don't agree with them entirely. What they did to Tucker Carlson, awful. But he's on X now and he's doing a bang up job there, so that's the thing. But over on CNN, they're having guests like, I don't know, the Prime Minister of Canada to tell us about why he's right and everybody else is wrong. And by the way, excuse me, wobbly bobs, Alex, thank you, Alex, for editing this one as he usually does, to give that a little bit of pizzazz and a little bit of I just love the way he edits.
A lot of people out there might say, what does climate change have to do with this? Explain.
Well, when the summers get drier, when weather gets hotter, when weather patterns shift, communities that were built in a place that never saw fires are suddenly seeing fires much more frequently. There's a shift in everything.
Like
that
Los
means
Angeles.
Even what we see now.
Los Angeles never saw fires. Justin Trudeau. This is crazy. Now, I'm not going to get into the Los Angeles fires. There are a lot of good people covering this stuff. One channel I'd love to indicate is Decoy Voice. Go check out Decoy Voice. Maybe one of the mods can put a link to Decoy Voice's channel. He's been covering it great. He is some of the best like non-biased commentary that I've seen on the platform. And I've had him on the show before. He's fantastic. I absolutely love what he's doing. So get over and watch Decoy Voice if you want to see more about the California fires story. But here's Trudeau blaming it all on things that it's not to blame.
Is going to just get worse and worse and worse over the coming decades if we're not serious about reducing our emissions and looking for ways to protect our future generations.
A lot of people out there might.
Yeah, right. So that's what else is he doing over on CNN? He's talking to Jen Psaki. This is the former White House press secretary for this is how they do the same thing in the United States. I don't like it when they do it in the States, and I don't like it when they do it in Canada, but it's one of those. Yeah, so there's the link, Decoy Voice. Go check him out. He's fantastic. it's this revolving door of you're in the government and you're in the media. They do it in the US too, and they do it on both sides of the aisle. It's a thing. It's just kind of, it feels gross to me. It feels incestuous. I don't like it. But here's Trudeau talking with Bride of Checky, Jen Psaki.
You did make a trip down to Mar-a-Lago, and you did meet with the former and future president. What was that like? I'm assuming he didn't bring up his intention to publicly say he was going to annex through economic means your country.
It actually sort of came up at one point, and then we started musing back and forth about this. And when I started to suggest, well, maybe there could be a trade for Vermont or California for certain parts, he immediately decided that it was not that funny anymore, and we moved on to a different conversation. So this isn't out of the blue that he's doing this, but my focus has to be not on something that he's talking about that will.
So when you don't get the joke, it doesn't mean that it's not funny because the joke's not funny. It means that you're not funny. You know what I mean? Oh, and it's like awkward after because you're like, what? The mimbo that we have as a prime minister, to this day, he didn't step down. He said he intends to. Yeah.
Will not ever happen, but more on something that might well happen, that if he does choose to go forward with tariffs that raise the cost of just about everything for American citizens.
Just about everything.
On top of that.
This, again, like he's got hubris in the fact that he thinks he's superior and everybody's constantly thinking about him and what he's doing, but the things he does affects everybody. But he's also saying that like it'll make everything expensive for all Americans if Canadian products, which we have trade restrictions, as I explained before, that cause us to make duplicate companies of companies that are already successful in the United States, but we can't get their products for cheap because we have to make our own companies because of our government that forces us to make our own companies in our own territory. Somehow the companies that can't compete in the American market anyway will have a harder time competing. Like what are you getting at?
We're going to have a robust response to that. It was nice to reconnect with him. He very clearly expressed what he had talked about in his tweet a few days before, that he has concerns about the border between Canada and the United States, particularly around migration and around fentanyl. I was pleased to highlight that less than 1% of the illegal migrants, less than 1% of the fentanyl that comes into the United States comes from Canada. So
false. False. It's absolutely false. But you could just say it, and then therefore it makes it true.
We're not a problem, but we're happy to, and we've actually responded to his request for us to do more with billions of dollars worth of investments to even further strengthen the security at our borders, to make sure we're reducing the flow of illicit drugs back and forth across our border, to get a better handle on the migration issues that are real at the northern border, but nowhere near the level of concern that Americans have from further south.
No. So the concern at the southern border is a sheer number of people, period. The concern at the northern border is the particular individuals. That it's not the sheer number, because if you were talking about numbers of people going into which country, you actually probably would have more people flowing into Canada from the United States than the other way around. If you just look at numbers alone. We're talking about the bad people and the people that are bringing bad stuff with them. That's what we're talking. I'd like to see Clyde debate Justin Trudeau live. Oh, that'd be fun. That would be hilarious. I haven't done a debate in a very long time, so that's not whatever. But so here we are. We're in a situation where we've got idiocy. We got idiocy at the helm, and we're waiting. We're stuck. We're stymied. We can't move forward in Canada until something happens, until we get an election. But we're prorogued Justin Trudeau's prorogued government to stall so that the Liberals could have their race to find out who's going to be the leader of the third place. The third place. We have to wait to find out who's going to be the leader of the runner-up to the runner-up. That's what we have to wait for. And it turns out the guys who are going to win, the leader of that party, has got a lot to say. He's got a lot to say about all of this stuff, and it's making a lot of sense to a lot of
Mr.
people.
Polyev.
And of course, they make you watch an ad, so we're not going to be watching that clip tonight. That's not going to be it, but we can watch some other ones, like perhaps Asmongold, who made a tremendous amount of views on this. He's an American streamer who streams video games. He streams video games, and every once in a while he does some React content. But he just stumbled upon this video of Pierre Poilievre, who's going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada, with a little bit of curiosity. And this is his reaction to it.
Canada? Is this that Pierre guy? On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, a lot of people
I don't really believe in that.
Okay,
I like this guy. Yeah.
People would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure.
I really like how people are calling out journalists so journalists do this thing where they say a lot of people are thinking this or a lot of people are saying this. Yeah. And then whenever they mean that, they're not actually talking about a lot of people. They're talking about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely annoying. Like, yeah, hey, we're going to create this narrative, and now you have to address the narrative that we've just invented. Yeah, just don't play the game.
Just don't play the game. And I've pointed this out several times. Yes, it's ask a question or insert a narrative. Say so, and use it in a way that's poignant. It's poignant. It's pointed at the person, and then they have to come to the defensive. Especially as a debater or as somebody who's in politics. The last thing you want to do is have to defend a straw man. So a straw man being an argument that is like built up. It's this facade or an imaginary version of you, and you have to dispel that imaginary thing is you before you can move on to the things that you want to talk about. So the best way to do it is to use these other tactics like Pierre's doing right now, dispelling it without even having to address it. Like who, oh, okay. So somebody said that thing. Tell me who that was. Cause really it's you, reporter guy. Somebody in the chat saying, I saw that earlier. This guy was an American guy, by the way. I'm getting texts from my wife. I'll have to check that later. But yeah, no, it's absolutely what's going on here. And the reason why this went viral and so many people caught this, and then Asmongold ended up watching it, is because it's Pierre finally, like Pierre's figured out the game, and he's like top level. He's top level when it comes to this stuff. These reporters haven't figured out a tactic to catch him. They're always trying to catch him, and he just knows their routine so well that he's just like, nah, not gonna buy that. And in fact, I'm gonna throw it in your face, and it's gonna make you look really, really foolish.
You Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
Okay,
okay.
I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also,
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a, it's quite a.
This is something that's extremely common with a lot of journalism, and it's also true with like emotional manipulation that happens on Twitter. Yes. Is that what they do? This guy, by the way, holy shit.
He's good. He's good.
This guy is just not. This guy's amazing. This is the first time I've ever heard him speak or say anything.
Trust you with their vote, given, not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also,
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page?
Okay,
give me the page.
Going over the same thing
you keep saying
in terms
that.
of being an
ometer. This guy is just nothing.
You make on it. So I'm
not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question is.
Then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
A minute and a half for one question.
Yeah.
Common
sold.
sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have
not a question.
any
That's
common
right.
sense in the
It's
current
a
government.
Statement.
The guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money
it's a lot of inflation.
8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades.
So this is great, and this is why people are starting to really, like Pierre, fall for Pierre, whatever you want to say. He knows how the media works. He knows how these little sophist games work with journalists, with their getcha, gotcha moments, and all that stuff. He knows the game, and he's able to stop what they're doing and then give his real message, like actually bring that message forward and give his point, his pitch. And his pitch is on point. It's pitch perfect. Pun intended. But this is it. And here he is in another spot talking to some tradespeople. Elon Musk saying perfectly articulated, talking about exactly the same thing that he was talking about with this reporter, and it's the inflation problem in Canada. And for someone who's read into this for I want to say 15 years now, economics and how economies work and how money, credit, all of that works, he's on point. He's on point with all of this.
Yes.
What are the steps that need to be taken to fix the damages done to inflation?
First and foremost, stop the overspending. Inflation, high taxes, deficits, high interest rates are all symptoms. The disease is overspending. When governments spend too much money, there's only 3 ways to get it. One is to raise your taxes. The other is to borrow, which means that they'll tax you more later on. And the third way is to print money. Now, printing money seems like a painless way to pay for things, but it's very simple. If you have 10 apples and $10 in the economy, it's a bucket apple. If you double the number of dollars in the economy to 20, you still only have 10 apples. You're not twice as rich, it's just that each apple costs twice as much. And that is a tax on the working people because it chews up the purchasing power of your paycheck, only to pay for excessive government spending, and it balloons the asset values of the billionaires. So it's a real transfer from the have-nots to the have-yots. Inflation is the worst and most immoral tax. It always results from government creating cash. Our government has created about $700 billion of cash in the last 3 years. So we used to have $1.8 trillion of bills, coins, and banks.
Because as previous gens and government have decided to sacrifice the prosperity of future generations and our national currency for high home prices and government spending. Yes. What they've done is they want, so this is what needs to be, expressed to people, and here's a way you can explain it to people on the left, especially like, environmentalist types. And I'm not talking about people who are like, well, you'll have to knock some sense into people that are like caught by a woke mind virus or some sort of mind virus. But when people are not too like fervent and religious in their conviction and are susceptible to at least a conversation, you got to look at debt as conservation of things, right? So people would say like, no, we don't want to consume all the things in the environment. We don't want the companies to go in and get all the oil out of the ground, because that would be bad. Too much oil getting out of the ground and being used all at once. We want to have some. We want to keep some in the ground so we can use it later. And that's a perfectly viable approach. And, you know, when people buy plots and lands, this is how they economize a piece of property. They don't want to overconsume, because then there's no equity left in the property. You want to maintain that balance, the equilibrium between equity and dividends from any sort of resource. Now, if you explain it in an economic way to a leftoid, they're not going to get that. But if you explain it in the way that what debt is you're consuming now and promising to pay later. Now that can't work out. And what are we doing? How do we pay it back later? Are we actually producing items and producing things? Because money is just, all it really is a measure of the goods and services that exist in the marketplace as it exists right now. If all the goods and services were to disappear, the money would be worthless. It would be nothing, because it's a representation of all the goods and services in circulation. It's a store of value based on all of those things. And Great Canadian Peso is coming soon. Does Canada not have an oil reserve? No, we have oil productions. We have oil production and it goes out. But here's the thing: if we're consuming, and you have to understand it this way, because if we're, you know, environmentalists would say, no, we don't want to consume all in the immediate. We need to conserve these things. Okay, but why would we do that with the money? The money is just a representation. So if we're consuming, what we're doing is we're sending out a signal that consumption needs to occur. Consumption needs to happen to rebid that money back up. But then at the same time, we're not doing that. And then we're making the money worthless. But at some point, that consumption needs to occur, and we need to pull those, you know, things out of the ground. We need to do the hard work and all these other things to make that happen. So, I mean, from an environmental aspect, or from, you know, just thinking about the poors and all of that stuff, yeah, you don't want to be consuming all the things in the immediate. You can't do that. It creates problems in the long run.
Bank deposits. That was about 3-4 years ago. Now it's up to 2.5 trillion. So that's extra cash, but the economy has only grown by 4%. So the real things in the economy have only grown by 4%. The cash has grown by 40%. So the money supply is growing 10 times faster than the stuff money buys, which creates a bidding war, and that's what's driving up inflation. We have to cap government spending with a dollar-for-dollar law that requires my ministers find $1 of savings for every new dollar of spending, so that they go into their departments, find the waste and mismanagement. They want to spend more here, they have to spend less there, or get a bargain here and there to bring both under budget. Then and only then will we stop the money printing, borrowing, and overtaxation, and wrestle inflation to the ground. Thank you.
He is smart. Absolutely. I heard one in there, read one earlier. I don't remember who said it, but it was, do we have a reserve? It's called the oil sands. Yes. And don't call them the tar sands. That was a pitch to try to label the oil sands as some environmental disaster. In fact, tar and oil are completely different things. If you look back in history, incidentally, tar used to be all over the continent. It used to be tar flats, tar pits, tar everywhere, until a young entrepreneur named was it Rockefeller? I think it was Rockefeller. He came up with a great idea of taking that tar, refining it, and turning it into kerosene. And incidentally, even though they called him a robber baron for it and making millions of dollars, he single-handedly saved the whales because people no longer needed whale oil to run lamps, old wick lamps. This is what people used. And he created the middle class. And the way he created the middle class was by supplying the marketplace with something that was already available, but creating a much cheaper alternative. He made a much cheaper alternative called kerosene that people were able to keep the lights on after the darkness came. Unbelievably, people couldn't afford whale oil to keep the lights on. So when the tar pits started getting cleaned up, in LA, they were everywhere. When the tar pits started getting cleaned up, an environmental disaster was getting cleaned up by industry because they were coming in. Tar sands is racist. Yeah, come on. So they were cleaning up the tar pits all over the place. And what happened was all these middle class families who normally the sun goes down and the lights are out in the house, it's bedtime. You wake up when the sun comes up. They were able to stay awake at night and read books and study and better themselves. Next thing you know, you've got people entering into universities on scholarships and all this stuff. Their children doing so much better. This is the hard work. This is the things that we had to go through as a society in the past before we ever got to the affluence that we're in today. It's a slow burn. And you know what? What thanks do we give to somebody like Rockefeller who made all that possible? We call him a villain. No, that's the Marxist approach to things. Call the guy who provided all of these things through a brilliant innovation and providing the market with something that only the affluent could afford at one point. He made it available for even the poorest people in the lands, and he's labeled a villain? Give me a break. It's just unbelievable. It's so hard to draw the brainwashing out from so many people because this is the reality of the situation. It's amazing. It's amazing how it all actually played out. All tyranny, profiteering, Marxism. Yeah. Anything that's profiteering is the villainy to a Marxist. I fell asleep for a while. I only slept 5 hours last night. You and me both. I think I got 5 hours. I've been going hard lately, so I haven't been getting a lot of sleep. But I've been excited. It's been this. I don't know what it's been over the past month or so. There's been this huge excitement. It's a big fire burning in me, and I've just said, you know what? I'm just gonna put this into content, and as long as that fire is burning, fire's always burning, but it's just been like an overdrive. It's been crazy lately, so I've just been really, really pushing hard and just getting as much info out as much as I possibly can, and hence guests and back-to-back streams and all that stuff. And I hope everybody's enjoying it because I'm having a great time. I've been having a blast. But this is probably a good time tonight. I was gonna show that one clip, but I can do that after this. So I'm gonna get into the Pierre clip, and then after this Pierre clip, I am gonna button things up. But for everybody who wants to continue the chat, make sure Gmeister just put it in the chat here. The Discord link is right there. After the live streams, I usually jump in and have a chat with everybody that wants to join, and it's great because it's a great opportunity for everybody to hear from each other, different opinions, different ideas, and also for me to hear feedback directly from you guys, not just in the chat, but like actually hear your voice, hear what you have to say. You don't have to come and speak if you don't want. You can just lurk, just come in, have a listen, and see how the chat's going, however you want. But the link is in there for you. Gmeister just put it up there. It's right at the top there. Clyde, just do live streams all the time. Just kidding. Yeah, I know, right? It's I got a busy schedule. It really is crazy. Wake up, videos, work for 8 hours, get home, family man, more videos, do it all again, rinse and repeat. It's a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoy it. But yeah, in the meantime, because we're living in cramped quarters and we're in a transition period in our lives because we have the whole eviction and all that stuff, put a mission on this to like really just push for the things that I'm working towards. So this is a lot of that fire that's going on. There's another link to the Discord server right there with G-Meister. But let's get into this this clip. So this is from CBC News. They put this out there, and this is a clip of Pierre at one of the press conferences. The Axe the Tax election, getting into it. I think I do have one more other clip, if I can find it, that I wanted to show that complements this. Yes, this other clip. So I'll line that up. So it complements this. Let's get into this, what Pierre had to say here.
Mr. Poilievre, Elon Musk seems to be a fan of yours. He tweeted a 100% emoji recently in response to a tweet that says, Pierre Poilievre is extremely impressive. He should be Canada's next leader. The sooner, the better.
Awesome.
I'm wondering what you think of this, and do you accept his endorsement? In French and English, please.
Well, first of all, my 3-year-old has just told me that he wants to go to Mars. So I guess Mr. Musk would be the right guy to put him in touch with. The fact is that
you got lots of likes. Thanks, Clyde.
We could convince
I love that.
Mr. Musk to open some of his factories here in Canada and create some jobs, high-paying jobs for our people.
Absolutely.
I think Tesla, his company, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, automotive company in the world. Wouldn't it be nice if we were producing more without corporate welfare, without corporate subsidies, like the Liberals?
So this is great. This is a great point because Pierre Poilievre's hinting at what we've done with Volkswagen, a bunch of other automotive manufacturers, by giving them literally, I think it was like 50. Don't quote me on this. One company got like $13 billion with a B. I think it was like $57 billion, which is handed out to all these companies to build battery plants. And then we just scrapped the idea. We just scrapped it. We didn't get any of the money back. No, we didn't get any of the money back, but we scrapped the idea. So what? No, I think it was more than 15 billion. I think it was like way higher than that. So that was just one company. So it's crazy. So yeah, it's just like a bad dream. It just turned into a bad dream where we just gave a bunch of money away, like a ton of taxpayers' dollars away that could have gone to great things, could have gone to a number of noble causes, but they didn't. They went to Volkswagen. They lined the pockets of shareholders in a multinational corporation. It's unbelievable. It's socialism for the rich is what it is. It's just like elitist corporate welfare. It's unbelievable. And that's what he's alluding to. And he's saying, no, we need to have a regulatory system that's enticing. We want it to be so they can make profits and they can make a good living, and then they'll have at their disposal our expertise and our work ethic and the people of this country to work in their businesses. And that's a good deal if we're not burdening them with all this regulatory nonsense. And we don't have to entice them with big dollar signs. We don't have to give them taxpayer dollars. They'll come just because it's freer here. And that's really what it is. Why do you think so many companies are moving to Texas? Do you think it's because Texas is giving them money to come to Texas? No, they're just telling them you don't have to pay any taxes here. Or you don't, there are taxes, but not like other places.
Favor, we had more of that production here in Canada. I think that would be fantastic. So if I ever get a chance to meet Mr. Musk, what I would say is, how do we make this an economy where we bring home hundreds of billions of dollars of investment to Canada so that our people get the paychecks? And why is it that after 9 years of NDP Liberals, it's Americans that are getting all the paychecks and all the growth?
So this is a classic lefty take that they just don't get, right? So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in New York, she famously kiboshed this like a great deal with Amazon because they wanted to put a distribution center in her district, and she came forward saying, why is it that we're giving this company billions of taxpayers' dollars? Like, what? That's not what they're doing. They were giving them a break on taxes. I think it was like 7% tax, and then to negotiate to get them to come to that district, they said, all right, we'll give it to you for 5% tax, which on a big company like that is a big amount of money, like a big amount of money. And so she looked at that as money taken away from the tax dollars. This is the hubris of government employees and government, socialists. They come to the table with the assumption that your money is theirs, not that if you come, then they'll earn money and then you'll get the benefit of them being there and all of the things and all of those transactions that come with that. Yeah, well, the entitlement. Yeah. And you know what happened? Amazon didn't go to her district. People were pissed. Absolutely pissed. It would have created a ton of jobs in their area. It would the trickle-on effect of all of the work that would have come around that, just having that much economic activity happening in that zone. It would have created work for restaurants, entrepreneurs, and other fields, and all kinds of other stuff. It would have been great, but it never happened because of some stupid socialist thinking in her mind. She couldn't even get around that. It's unbelievable. My main source of Canadian information is definitely Glad Do Something. Thank you, Rudy Cast. If you want to get good South American commentary and news about what's happening down there, albeit it's mostly in Spanish, but YouTube has a great feature for translations. Use that feature. It's fantastic, but you got to check out RudyCast. Rudy, get in the comments again so people can see your link, so you see your channel and get on over there. We got to do something over on your channel. I want to go talk to your South American audience and get to know some of the Venezuelans out there that are dying for freedom, absolutely striving for it, because there's a big movement in South America and we should all be paying attention to it. Pierre Poilievre's wife is from Venezuela as well. I need to bring you on next week. Tell me the day, and we'll work this out. Send me a DM, and hopefully it'll work out. I have some things happening next week, but I could probably make some room for you. Absolutely. And there's the link. There's the link to Rudy's channel. Go check out RudyCast. But yeah, getting back to this. This is absolutely the case. We want to make room for companies to want to come. You don't have to entice them with money. You entice them with freedom to operate. That's what really brings companies in.
Is it that NDP Liberals have done wrong to drive these hundreds of billions of dollars out of our country? That is the question that all Canadians should be asking. And when I'm Prime Minister, there's going to be massive. This is the message that I have for the Americans, by the way. The days of us just handing over our businesses,
congrats, Rudy,
and our jobs because of our economic vandalism by this big, fat, money-hungry government in Ottawa,
yes,
are over. We're going to have a fierce free market economy that competes with every countryism by this big, fat, money-hungry government in Ottawa. Are over.
It's over.
We're going to have a fierce free market economy that competes with every country on earth.
Yes.
We're going to bring it home.
Going to bring it home, he says. And this is the sentiment that he's bringing to the stage, right? And a lot of people agree with it. Of course, all the leftards, the leftoids are freaking out about it. Freaking out, absolutely. But there's people cheering all over the place. Honestly, I wish he would go even further. I wish he would go the direction of Javier Milei, going showing the departments that he'd be ripping up and tearing down, talking about bringing back our industry, bringing back our everything, tearing all this bureaucracy apart, the red tape. Of course, I guess he's stylized differently. He's not going to come out with a chainsaw, but I mean, we could hope. But this is the thing. Now, Pierre Poilievre also in that same conference, Cat Canada put this one out there, saying Pierre Poilievre, the Libs just want to elect another Justin Trudeau who has a different face. They're all Justin Trudeau. They're all just like Justin Trudeau. Don't trust that. And this is the whole thing. They want Trudeau to sit down so that they can get more seats because they know they're losing. They know they're losing tremendously, as we pointed out here. They're third, very close to the NDP, but third. They're not, like, why do we even care who's in their leadership contention? Like, why do we care? But of course, the media does. John with a 279 super chat says, any update on the prorogation challenge? No, none yet. That was news. It dropped kind of earlier this week, and I haven't heard any other news from it. So as soon as I know, I'm going to be making a video about it. So yeah, definitely pay attention for that, because that's high on my priority list of things to talk about. PP has not said he will remove the industrial carbon taxes. He said he's going to remove the carbon taxes. The carbon taxes. I don't see the need to specify particular carbon taxes. Remove the carbon taxes. So this is what he said about this.
And so, right before an election, the Liberal MPs want to elect another Justin Trudeau who has a different face. They're all Justin Trudeau. They're all just like Justin. In the next election, I will be running against Justin Trudeau. Whether his name is Justin Trudeau, or his name is Chrystia Freeland, or Carbon Tax Carney, or Carbon Tax Clark, they will all be Justin Trudeau.
Yep.
They supported everything he's done, and they promise to keep doing it. And if they say otherwise, we know they're lying, because they would have done so earlier.
Yep.
Let's go through the list. You have Carbon Tax Carney himself. To this day, he's on the Liberal website as the Chief Economic Growth Advisor to Justin Trudeau. Mm-hmm. He hasn't even resigned from that position after Justin Trudeau has resigned himself as the leader.
Well, Trudeau hasn't
Presumably
resigned.
then, Carbon Tax Carney supports every single economic policy that has given us the worst decline in per capita GDP of any G7 country.
Yeah, and he goes on, but here's the problem. The liberal, like, they're not even democratic. It's crazy. So the Liberals will remove fraudulent memberships as some register their pets to vote, is the headline here. So people have been registering all kinds of stuff. I saw one person on X, they registered as Xi Jinping and gave the Chinese embassy in Toronto, I think it was, as their address, and it was like, welcome to the Liberal Party, thanks for entering, we look forward to you voting in our elections. It's crazy. Brenda Weeb for $13.99 says, I would LOL if non-English and French was the only one to pay the $350,000 to be a Lib leader, right? And that's really what it comes down to. Nobody wants to pay that kind of money just to be the Liberal leader for what, a couple of weeks until we have an election. It's ludicrous that we're even going through this. And that's the caveat. That's actually the caveat that has some people worried. Here's a good point right here.
Minister Justin Trudeau gone for good? No. Earlier today, Trudeau, leader of the Liberal Party, did announce that he intended to resign at some point in the future, but he used a clever legal technique to announce it. He used what's called a conditional promise, meaning He said that he would resign, but only if certain specific things, conditions, happened first. The tricky thing about conditional promises is that if the condition...
If anyone else in the audience has ever had a narcissist in their life, you'll absolutely relate to this, what a conditional promise is. And this is a tool, a tactic that people will use to get away with something in the future that they know. And have a listen.
Doesn't occur, then the promise doesn't have to occur either. In this case, he said he'd only resign if his replacement is found through use of a, quote, robust nationwide competitive process, whatever that means. Why didn't Trudeau just say the word election? Robust nationwide competitive process sort of sounds like the definition of an election,
but it ain't.
But from a legal perspective is vague enough to also possibly mean something other than an election.
Yep.
We know that Trudeau had time to choose his words very carefully, which means nothing in his speech was there by accident. So what does all of this mean? Is it just some fancy language, an attempt to buy time for himself? Maybe in hopes of avoiding a vote of no confidence. Perhaps he's thinking something will happen to make Canadians forget they don't really like him. What if another lockdown is imposed and some kind of state of emergency is declared? Would there even be an election? Would Trudeau just continue on as PM indefinite? Why do you think he picked that particular phrase? Do you think he's going to step down? Let me know in the comments and check back soon for more briefings.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of out there, though. It's still kind of out there. Like, I don't know if he's going to try to hang on to power, like if there's a real justification for him to try to do that. I mean, not that he needs a justification for anything that he does. He just does it anyway. But would he really do that? I don't think so. But he did leave the door open. He left that door wide open, so it's worth noting, and it's absolutely worth being cautious over and pointing out for sure. But it's another one of those things. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I went extra long this evening. I don't usually do almost 3 hours. I usually do 2. But hey, you know, when you get into the swing of things and you're having fun, it's one of those things. I want to thank everybody for coming out, everybody for hanging out as always, and watching all the videos and commenting on all the videos, making sure to hit that like button. It's one of those things. You just got to get people into the you know, the routine of doing that. Oh, I'm watching one of Clyde's videos. Bang. There goes the like button. There goes down to the chat. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just giving my opinion. I love to, that engagement really drives things, and it's fantastic. And I appreciate it for everybody that does that. We want to keep this community growing, and it's been growing like crazy. And man, I appreciate it so much, and I really can't wait to meet some of you here in British Columbia. We're doing a stopover in Squamish, BC. The place is the Shady Tree Pub, and that's on the 25th of January. Marty's flying out. We've got other guests coming. Yutaka, our moderator, one of our moderators tonight, he'll be there. We have Alex Zoltan, he's going to be there. Yuji Tai, who does the coffee brand for the business here. He'll be here as well. He's my roaster. He's my compadre in that whole effort, so he'll be there. Anybody who's in the Lower Mainland or the surrounding areas, if you want to come out, come on out. It's not invitation only. It's just show up. It's going to be on the 25th, the Shady Tree Pub. We haven't made a time specific, but like right around dinner time, and then on for the rest of the evening. So just show up when you show up, and you'll definitely be able to catch one of us when we're there. And all of us, the whole community, I'm looking forward to having a lot of you guys meet each other to make long-lasting friendships. And that's really the main goal of this whole thing, is to get other people together so that other people can be friends and form communities, bonds. This is how we change a nation. This is how we change a culture. This is how we change the Western civilization, by getting back together, build some of these strong bonds, get away from this division and sowing division, all that other stuff, bring people together, have some beers. And it's beers. I want to look at the results. I got to hit the results of the poll and the poll. What is it? It's beers, ladies and gentlemen. It's beers We're having beers together. You guys can have beer together, but we're having beers together on the 25th. I hope to see a bunch of you out there. If you can't make it because you're in another part of the country, that's fine. We're going to book some more other ones, and we're going to try to make it out to Eastern Canada, Middle Canada, all over the place, and make it happen. So looking forward to that. And as always, every time, everybody, keep on trucking.